Hey, Fester, do you still have the phone number for that St. Pete traffic engineer guy? Or remember we had that problem when 4th Street was closed for like 2+ years when they were rebuilding that overpass, 275 southbound, 4th Street exit, and that was closed for a while. And we had to all take the Ulmerton MLK exit and then peel off at the fork to the left. And we would get hit at the light at, what is that, Roosevelt and MLK, right?
Yes.
And for whatever reason, it was working okay. And then the whole traffic pattern, the whole light signal pattern got all frigged up. And remember, we talked about it on the air. And do you remember the process there? Did the guy call in or?
No, I had to track him down, and I left him several messages, and he was an early riser.
Right.
And he called.
Right.
He returned my call to this number.
Right.
And you spoke to him before the show because he's probably in the office right about now.
Right.
I got to find his name. I don't have his number still.
Oh, man. Really?
I mean, it's public record. I can look it up.
You got to keep a Rolodex for things like this.
Yeah, I don't keep a Rolodex for anything.
Yeah, anyway, we need him because something's driving me crazy. So I take the 4th Street exit now, but you kind of maintain that you think that the MLK Ulmerton still might be the better way for us to go, right?
There's 2 big lights on 4th, and they are in no hurry.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I want to get a hold of this guy. The traffic light at 116th and 4th, with nobody in the turn lanes, those turn arrows go like every single morning and sit there for like 30 seconds. It's like, listen, and when you're getting up this early to do a radio show, that 30 seconds, man, feels like 30 minutes. So I want to get hold of this traffic guy. Why the hell are the green arrows going and triggering when there's nobody in those lanes? Aren't there supposed to be sensors that are if there are no cars in the turn lane that it skips over the green left arrows, right? Isn't that supposed to happen?
And those lights would be under the city's jurisdiction, not the county or state, because it's on roads, not
find this
number
guy.
roads.
I got to get this taken care of because it's driving me nuts. Also, I'm very disappointed this morning.
Why?
Very perturbed, very disappointed. I was going to stop and get the barbecue grill on the side of 275. It's gone. Oh, no. Somebody beat me to the punch.
I mean, well, yesterday there was plenty of opportunity for people to see it.
Or maybe the jackknifed or the sideways moving truck that just totally snarled and really screwed up traffic on the Howard Franklin Bridge, 275 southbound. Man, that was rough.
I was laughing the whole way home.
Yeah, that was, let's see, about, was it 8:30, 9 o'clock? It was.
Yeah, it was during the show.
Yeah, well, thank you. We did talk about it. So
it was during the show.
It was during the show.
Thank you for narrowing that down. We appreciate that.
It was in morning hours.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it happened probably about 8:30 where this moving truck just went sideways. Pat said that the front axle might have snapped.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So where it lost control and kind of spun out.
That's what I want. I want a moving company whose truck's front axle snaps with all my prized possessions in the back. You know what? That's a guarantee that you'll get from twocollegebrothers.com. At twocollegebrothers.com, they guarantee that the front axle won't snap and potentially put all of your items in peril.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been some horrible moving truck accidents, and typically, and I remember seeing these over the years. It's been a while since I recall seeing pictures or video, but they typically happen with the tractor trailers, the 55-footers, the big, moving trucks. And I've seen a couple of stories where those things have jackknifed at speed on the interstate or whatever, and those things just flip and roll. And can you imagine your entire house's contents? You're moving, you're working for, I don't know, pick a company, you're working for, IBM or something, and they're moving you from point A to point B or whatever. And every bit of your family's contents, all of the rooms, the dining room, the living room, the bedroom, all the boxes, all the fine china, everything in a moving truck. And then there's an accident and the damn thing jackknifes and flipped over. I remember seeing some stories where like the contents were a total loss. Or moving truck fires where the moving truck like burns to the ground. Can you imagine that kind of nightmare?
All right, you're not going to believe this.
Tell me.
On Reddit,
Yep.
there's a post
Yep.
by a family that says the moving truck and all of our belongings crashed yesterday. Possible total loss.
Oh, my God.
They aren't even sure if they'll be allowed to ever see their stuff again.
What?
I don't know the date. I just kind of did some Google searching.
They can't go see the smoldering ruins?
It's already burned. This is from 6 years ago, so
Oh.
it's a Reddit post. It's in the archives.
Okay.
But it happens.
So it's not like breaking news from yesterday. It's not fresh news.
Nah, poor family.
Hang on. Well, 6 years ago, we drove out ahead of the truck and arrived at our destination. Today, we got a call that the truck had crashed on the way on the interstate. Initial report was total loss of everything. They had to bulldoze things off the interstate and into a salvage truck. They also did a document burn on scene to prevent the loss of personal data in the wind. Later, we heard that some of the boxes may have survived. The moving company says their adjuster will go through everything and decide what can be salvaged so they can decide the payout amount. Capped at $50K? Oh, my God. If things are salvaged, they may pay less, but are sending an advance of 10% regardless. Oh, here's $5,000. What?
Sorry.
Here's a 10% advance on $50,000. Here's $5K for your loss of your entire life in the moving truck. If things are salvaged, they may pay less. They have stated an intent to pay for our belongings. When I mentioned driving out to see my stuff and make my own decisions on salvage, they acted like it was an unusual request. What? Holy, that's a nightmare. That is insane. I'll tell you what. Whatever you can think of, it's on Reddit.
Yeah.
Somebody has discussed it. Somebody has had a problem with it. Somebody has fixed it. Somebody's asking a question. Somebody's responding to it.
So I also read last night that the online forums are disappearing because of Reddit. All these owner forums and different forums where you get niche information.
Right.
Are gone.
I say niche.
I say niche.
Some people say niche. Niche. I think it's niche. Can you go to the? You know what?
Yeah.
Let's take care of this query right now.
I say niche.
Go to the M-W dictionary.
Froggy, what do you say?
Yeah,
I say niche.
Yeah, niche. It's a niche situation.
I don't even know how to spell it.
Yeah,
It's-
N-I-C-H-E.
It's pronounced
On
like
Shark Tank, they always go
stick.
niches make riches.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
my God!
There you
There are
go.
3 different pronunciations.
Could we all be right?
Oh, but maybe so. All right, let's go. First one is do it again.
Niche.
Stop. Wait. All right,
Niche.
let me get in the clear. Go.
Niche.
Okay, that's
Niche.
that's what I say. So that would be correct. All right, Fester, what do you say?
Niche.
That's the other one that I said. I said that
Niche.
some say niche. Okay, so that's
Niche.
correct. And the third one,
Niche.
niche. Fester, I don't think
Yours isn't in there.
I don't think
No.
yours is on there.
I
I'm
had 3
com-
chances, but
I'm
no.
combining the beginning part of
Niche.
and the back half
Right.
of
Niche.
to make niche.
Or you could say bitch if you want.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go
All right,
with.
just getting rolling on a Wednesday morning on the MJ Morning Show. Pretty busy show today. Don't move. Back in minutes. First, Pat's got traffic.
Still a nice ride. The last hour couldn't find it.
Dooba-dabba-dabba-doo. It is the MJ Morning Show on Q105 620 at the MJ Broadcast Wednesday morning. We talked about mouse movers a while ago, and that's not a moving company that's, got mice as little mascots. No. Do you remember what a mouse mover was? You remember that?
I don't. Oh, yes, I do.
What?
Now I do. Is it something you put your mouse on that keeps it jiggling? So if you're remote working?
Yep.
I was thinking something like
That's big in the gamers world.
Yeah. We talked about this some time ago. I mean, a couple of years ago. Those that were doing, and this really stemmed from all the work at home stuff, during COVID, and all the people that worked remotely, didn't go into the office for 3 years, blah, blah, blah. And one of the rackets that people pulled is they were trying to defeat the system, which would monitor like screen movement. And there were programs that these companies that had remote workers that were using, if they were pretty much in front of a computer all day, that they were able to determine whether they were in front of the computer working. And a lot of the technology just had to do with, what was going on the screen. Was the mouse moving? Were things getting clicked? And there were ways that people could use a mouse mover and I guess simulate clicks or whatever to indicate to the company. It was kind of rudimentary, I guess, how they were monitoring. So we're aware of this. We talked about this. We had, I think, people called in a couple of years ago that said, "Oh yeah, I've been pulling this racket. They think I'm working. I'm at Target shopping for an hour and a half." So there's a kind of a follow up to this that Wells Fargo has fired a dozen employees for pretending to work. Yeah. Tell you what, did Wells Fargo fire all those folks involved like in the insurance and mortgage scams over the years? Nope. Are they still working there?
They gave them promotions.
Oh, man. Wells Fargo's had just a lot of crap. Man, they've been involved in.
It's a big bang. There's a lot of tentacles to that operation.
I got to be honest. I don't understand why people use these big banks. Without mentioning names like Wells Fargo and Chase and Bank of America, I don't understand why people.
Without mentioning names.
Did I just mention the names?
All three of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I mean, there are so many good local or regional banks that you just, you get, I think, better service and not just a number. And anyway, so I saw the latest on this, a Bloomberg report from Bloomberg Business. Wells Fargo has fired more than a dozen employees after investigating claims they were pretending to work. The workers, who were all employed in the firm's wealth and investment management unit, were let go after it was discovered they were allegedly involved in a simulation of keyboard activity. That's even better terminology. Simulation of keyboard activity. According to the disclosures filed with the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, that's FINRA. You ever hear FINRA, F-I-N-R-A? That's the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. The former employees were creating an impression of active work through simulation tools. Wells Fargo holds employees to the highest standards, except for the mortgage and the insurance rackets and scams and all that over the years.
We now hold our employees to the highest standards.
Until the next scandal's uncovered. And they said the employees are held to the highest standards and do not tolerate unethical behaviors. I'm just laughing at this. There were systemic unethical behaviors at Wells Fargo for years.
We now do not tolerate the unethical behavior.
Dozens of Wells Fargo employees were fired last month after they discovered they were allegedly involved in the simulation of the keyboard activity. The disclosure did not specify if the employees were allegedly faking working from home. Blah, blah. Anyway, so I got a chuckle out of this because we talked about these keyboard simulators. Can you go to Amazon or just do a Google search and how much is here we go. Vadir, this is on Amazon. Vadir undetectable mouse mover, mouse jiggler device, on-off switch, driver-free shaker wiggler, mouse movement simulation. Are they just like trying to put every search term in the headline for this product?
Yes. That's exactly right.
Oh, look, gift, ideal for men and women.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
There you $19.99. But what do you do to simulate keyboard activity or like the pressing of keys? Is there some type of a device that does that as well? Because that's a mouse jiggler to move the mouse around so the pointer moves around on the screen.
I'll look it up.
Automatic keyboard presser.
Put one of those massagers next to it and let it hit it over and over and over and over. That's what I do.
Let's see here. A computer keyboard click. Oh, here we go. There is one. Look at this thing. It's got like a long, like a rectangular device, and then it has some kind of swinging arm, and then it has like a spring-loaded presser that just presses. Look at this thing. How much? That's $31.99.
So it swings like a pendulum
Yeah.
above your keyboard and just randomly hits
Click,
clicks.
click, click, click. Hang on a minute. I can simulate that right here, right now. Look.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Not even that
So,
much.
What
Yeah.
jobs are there that you really don't have to do any work? You just have to act like your keys are moving? Like, don't you have-
911 dispatcher.
Yeah.
No,
You
I'm
have to have
kidding.
output?
I'm joking.
They're
I'm
on
kidding.
smoke breaks.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. They do a phenomenal job. Look at this. I was aware of the jiggler, but I hadn't seen. Maybe we did look this up a couple of years ago because
What's that called? A key bunker?
good enough. Yeah, bonking keys. It's a keyboard clicker and random click game assistance hang up artifact. What does that mean? Man, there's some crazy product headlines here. And it's $31.99. That is if you buy 1 to 30. If you want to buy more, then the price goes down.
I think there's different.
Stop. About this. You just want go back where you were. About this item. Click time is random, 1 to 30 seconds. Time cannot be set, just totally random. Move the click head freely, and any key can be clicked. The click head is made of soft rubber to protect your keyboard from clicking, no noise generated. Loosen screws and adjust its height to fit your keyboards.
It seems like a really cool product.
Oh, man, so many products out there to help you scam people. So, mouse shakers, keyboard clickers, the whole thing. And now, hey, I'm so thankful, man. You know, Wells Fargo, they're just such a their scruples are just
Impeccable.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yes.
You know. Oh, I didn't go any further on the barbecue. Really upset this morning because for the last week, at least 4 or 5 days, there was a barbecue grill that was off to the side on the shoulder on 275 South, right when you're getting on the bridge. So if you're coming through West Shore area, getting onto the bridge, and then you have the merge on the right, the folks coming from West Kennedy or from the Veterans Expressway or near the airport, you have that merge right past that apex where all these lanes come together as you're getting onto the Howard Franklin Bridge, 275 South. There was a black barbecue grill off on the shoulder. And now it's gone. Now it's, you know what? I had some weekend grilling plans. I was going to load that thing right up into the back of the SUV this morning. I don't know if it was a Weber or a Grill King or a
Whatever.
A Charmaster.
Do you have
Are those names? I think Weber's right.
Broils. Do you have the metal junk guy roll through your neighborhood?
Every hood has one.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Were they just looking for metal?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just drive the cruise, hoping somebody puts out a refrigerator. I've gotten rid of several appliances that way.
I took a picture of this and I never posted it on my IG, but I was cruising in South Tampa. I was cruising down Cleveland. Hello, Cleveland.
No, Cleveland says, hello, Peter.
Yeah,
Cleveland doesn't say hello to himself.
So I was cruising down Cleveland in South Tampa. You've got a Zeal and Cleveland, and there was just a stove that somebody dumped on the side of the road. It was not like at someone's driveway. It was in an area where it was like side yards, and clearly, and there was there's a speed table there, a speed hump, and somebody just, hang on a minute. Let me see if I think I still have it in my photo library. And I'm like, what the heck? Oh, here it is. I just found it. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this. I might not let it stay, but I'm gonna post it quickly, and I think it's gone now. But let me see if I can do I might have to wait till the break because I want to do a slideshow because I did a whole photo gallery. I've got about 9 beauty shots of the abandoned stove. But, if you drive the Tampa Bay area, I've said this in the past, you can furnish an entire house with what you find.
Yes.
You see beds, you see dressers, mattresses. There was a while, about a month ago, that I was seeing mattresses everywhere. On the side of 75, the side of I-4, the side of 275, just on surface roads. And I'm like, what's going on? Why is there this mass mattress abandonment?
Pea-stained mattresses or nice mattresses?
A variety.
No, I've seen, listen, when you're driving by at 65 miles an hour, I'm not able to take an inventory of the stains.
Also,
Right.
beggars can't be choosers. Everything probably needs a wash.
But I tell you, it's truly dynamic, though, that if you drive through you take a Saturday and you drive the whole area, you get up at 8 a.m. and you do it, and just get yourself a 26-foot U-Haul. Seriously, go to U-Haul, rent a 26-footer, drive around town, hit all the counties, go through Hillsborough, Pinellas, go through Pasco and Polk, and I'm telling you, you can furnish a house with all the crap you see abandoned on the side of the road. You don't need like one of those furniture rental places.
No.
You'll own it. Just pick it up and it's yours. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and during the break here, I'm gonna go ahead and post some of these stove shots, and I think somebody picked it up.
How long ago did you take this?
Oh, it's a couple of weeks back.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the stove's gone. I've been along the road numerous times since then, and the stove's gone. But it wasn't like from an adjacent house. It's like somebody had it in the back of. It's the reason why you see so much crap abandoned. Couches. I've just couches abandoned on the side of the road. Couch dumping. Remember we coined that phrase years ago. Couch dumping.
I've couch dumped several
Yeah.
times.
All right, so I'm going to, for the heck of it, I might not let it live on my Instagram for a while, but I'll post it just maybe briefly of the abandoned stove. All right, 6:32 at the MJ Morning Show. Great pile of early morons in the news next. Oh, and the news that broke late in the show yesterday about Justin Timberlake's DUI bust, or technically up in New York, they call it DWI. Look at this pile. Look at how many Justin Timberlake stories there are regarding the cop that pulled him over. Was this like a little fishing hole spot where the cops wait for people to run this stop sign after leaving that restaurant bar? Anyway, there's a lot on Justin Timberlake. We'll get into that coming up momentarily, but morons in the news going to be next. What's today's date? Today is the 19th of June, so you have about 11 days, 30 days in June, right? Yeah, 30 days. So you got, You got 11 days left to take advantage of. 6:41 at the MJ Morning Show, and I just posted moments ago, if you were checking in, oh man, that MJ, he didn't post the stove abandoned on the side of the road in South Tampa in his neighborhood in Beach Park. I just did. So it literally just posted. Let me just double check. Go to my Instagram. Up, finishing up. There it is. Okay. If you want to take a look, there is a delightful, maybe delectable is not a good word, a delightful slideshow of 4 pictures of this stove just chucked on the side of the road.
That's a good looking stove.
Yeah. And listen, you have people that abandon things, furniture, couches, mattresses, appliances, and they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to go to the dump. And don't you incur dump fees?
I don't go to the dump.
No, you just show them your tax collector's thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a county resident, the dump's free. If you,
I love the dump.
If you pay taxes.
So who pays to go to the dump? Is it like commercial businesses that need to dump like demolition materials from a house or something?
I don't know all the dump
They
details.
pay for the dump, right?
I don't know dump details.
What do you mean you don't know dump details?
I mean,
what do you think I pay you for? You need dump details.
He dumps in other dumpsters.
Yeah. I mean,
He's a dumper.
That's right.
First of all,
Fester
like me.
Fester dumps stuff behind
Big Lots.
Big Lots.
Big Lots, yeah.
Anyway, so for a limited time only, I'm not leaving. I'm not going to leave the stove pictures up on my Instagram long. So if you want to see the abandoned stove, see, you can see. Look at the wide shot with the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit right at the speed table. This thing's just dumped, and you can tell that's not at somebody's driveway. It's not at someone's house. It's just someone just driving by. Oh, this looks like a good place to dump our stove that we don't need anymore.
It really is a good spot because there's the speed hump. People are forced to slow down and just pay more attention.
If you want to see the stove dump, it's on my Instagram right now at Certified MJ Radio. That's Certified MJ Radio. All right, early morons of the news. Now, I didn't get to this. It's in the pile. I have audio, so I think we ought to just get to this story. I had this like late last week. There's a lady that freaked out at a Mexican restaurant because a baby was making noise, and this, I guess, 50-year-old woman got into a fist fight and was screaming about a woman named Maddie's child that apparently was making noise and disturbing her meal at a Mexican restaurant, which is in Mississippi. So a Mississippi Mexican restaurant. The place called Jalapeno Grill is the name of the restaurant.
Boy.
And here's the audio. She's been dubbed the Mexican restaurant Karen. And this lady is just out of her mind and having a meltdown. Here's a little taste of it.
It's a baby. It is a baby. Are you fucking insane? Don't bring your...
Oh my! Hey, Andrew! What the hell?
Andrew, the first sentence.
You missed the F-bomb in the first freaking sentence. Oh my God!
Seconds in.
Brutal.
The guy said it's a effing baby. Holy crap, Andrew!
All right. Hold on. We need to revisit this whole thing. Andrew!
In the first 3 seconds, there's a clear F-bomb, and I just had to dump it.
I mean, these people are from Mississippi, and all they do is curse over there.
I had this audio bite since last week, and we just didn't get to the story. Maybe there was some kind of a force or an internal power that was telling me, don't do the story. Hold on a minute. Don't do the story because Andrew missed an F-bomb bleep.
Oh my God!
What the? And can you fix that quickly and put it back up?
Oh, Andrew! I mean, I can't even cover for you on that one.
Oh my man! All right, do me a favor, fix the bleep quickly and get it back up for me. Holy schmoly! Wow.
So the Jalapeno Grill has a 4.4 rating on the Google.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's decent.
And this lady's antics has not affected the Google rating yet.
The confrontation took place in Mississippi. In one video, a group of customers rallied behind Maddie, putting themselves between the young mother and the unhinged woman, telling the fuming woman to calm down. Anyway, this woman was arrested after publicly berating the mother and her baby for making some noise in the restaurant. The woman then erupts, violently screaming at the surrounding customers, then don't bring your effing baby
we heard that.
to a effing restaurant. Well, a bunch of customers got behind Maddie, the mother, supporting her. The woman continues on her tirade. Wow. And hey, Andrew, let me know when you have this thing. Jeez. Yeah. He has to record the whole thing again. All right.
Very uncomfortable with this.
All right. How much time before we can play the audio? All right.
I just want to hear the Mississippi Mexican melee.
All right. Andrew says he needs a couple of minutes. All right. So I'll have you play it in there. Did you miss any other bleeps, or is that the only one that you've missed? Do you have any idea? All right. Let me know when you have it re-edited. Holy crap.
Let it roll. We'll find out soon enough.
But people are nuts. I mean, it's like the tolerance level has decreased. People, it just seems, is it just post-COVID that people are more hair trigger? They don't have tolerance. They snap.
No, I think if I dipped into the super spicy, 5-alarm salsa, the last thing I want to hear is a kid screaming in the background.
Yeah. Oh, here's a lovely story. We'll play that audio as soon as Andrew has it. This is lovely. Iowa City, Iowa. Woman arrested, faces multiple charges. Why? Her 3-year-old child was found walking down the sidewalk carrying a handgun.
3 years old?
3 years old. Left the house, obviously had access to a gun inside the house. 3-year-old opens the front door, walks out, and is just strolling down the sidewalk with a handgun in his hand. 3 years old. My God.
Gangster.
I thought that was legal in Iowa.
Yes, Samantha Hall, 31 years old, charged with making firearms available to a minor and child endangerment. Criminal complaint, according to the cops, said that... what's that?
Our audio's up. I pulled up the Iowa City News Reporter.
Oh, you got it? Okay, all right, hold on. Just hold on.
Iowa 8, where news comes fifth.
So the 3-year-old kid was seen walking down the sidewalk carrying a handgun with a full magazine of rounds. A passerby took the handgun away from the child. Yeah, Hall then grabbed the child and took him back to her home. Wow, police said that Hall told them that she was cleaning the house, didn't realize the child had walked away, and though she acknowledged having a handgun that she keeps in her nightstand, she told police she was unaware the child had walked out of the house with the handgun. See, this is another example where you gotta have a lockbox. You have to have a safe. You can't have a 3-year-old kid. You can't have any kids in the house and have unlocked firearms. If you have a firearm for personal protection, you have to have that firearm secured. You can get these little metal boxes.
See, when I hear this story, I think to myself, she's doing not just gun safety wrong, everything wrong. Something tells me if we went into that house, everything has gone awry.
Oh, this mother's a menace. Yeah. This mother's an absolute menace. Can you imagine? And how about the bystander that saw the kid walking down the sidewalk? I mean, that was a brave move. You got a 3-year-old. You don't know if the kid's going to pull the trigger on you and, blast you into next week.
You got to come up on the 3-year-old from behind.
Take him down.
Yeah.
That's nuts. All right, I tell you what. I don't want to get too late here.
You have to beanbag your 3-year-old.
I'm going to give Andrew just one more opportunity to check and make sure all the bleeps are out of the Mexican restaurant Meltdown, Mommy.
Yeah, that's code word for redeem himself.
Yeah, all right. So when we get back in just a minute, we'll start the 7 o'clock hour in just minutes, and then we will play the audio again, and hopefully it will be F-bomb free, and I won't have to use the delay button here and dump it. All right, so I was dying to hear that audio. All right,
yeah,
so
I'm intrigued now.
Yeah, that'll be next. Hang on. The Mexican restaurant, Mommy Meltdown, will be next here on the MJ Morning Show. Also, man, I got a stalker story. Well, it seems like it's a stalker story, but is it really something else? All right, I got a Post-it note story involving what was thought to be a stalker or an intruder. That's why I said Post-it notes. Those little sticky notes that were invented by accident. Did you know that? It was a failed adhesive. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, it was a 3M failed adhesive. Post-it notes.
I thought Romy and Michelle invented them.
What?
Who?
Romy and Michelle.
Who the hell's that?
Didn't you see that movie with
I didn't.
Mira Sorvino and they invented Post-it. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Was that the backstory on it?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Loaded next on the MJ Morning Show here on Q105, 104.7 FM. Got a roof leak? What's her name?
Barbara Streisand.
That's exactly what I thought. It is 7:01 at the MJ Morning Show here on Q105, 104.7 FM. It is highly appreciated when you spread the word and you tell everyone you know that you listen to the MJ Morning Show, and it's hands down the best entertainment in morning drive radio in the Tampa Bay market and quite possibly the entire planet. So spread the word. The MJ Morning Show is back on 104.7 FM. All right, Andrew, can you now certify that you have properly bleeped the Mexican Meltdown mad woman?
I added a bleep.
Can you explain how in the first 2 seconds you missed an F-bomb?
It was buried.
Yeah, you barely heard it.
I mean, man, dude, that wasn't buried. That was loud and clear. Fester, do you think it was buried?
I mean, you know what? I mean, maybe. I mean, Andrew has a pretty good ear.
All right, so Andrew, we'll let you slide on this one. Every once in a while,
Thank you.
an F-bomb gets by in the first 2 seconds of the audio
Listen,
clip.
I want you, MJ. I want you to know.
It wasn't like in the middle of a 3-minute soundbite. This was the first 2 seconds the guy drops the F-bomb.
I want you to know, MJ.
Yes.
Andrew is taking this very personally. He's beside himself that he missed it.
All right, if you're just tuning in, we were doing early morons in the news in the last segment. And the first item was about this meltdown this woman had in a Mexican restaurant called Jalapeno Grill
Yes.
in Mississippi.
Some nice Mississippi Mexican.
And this woman had a small child. The small child apparently was making noise in the restaurant. And some flaming Karen has a meltdown and starts giving it to the mother of the kid. And then other customers at the restaurant kind of stepped in to shield the mom from getting dressed down and verbally attacked by this mad woman. And we played the audio bite. And in the first 2 seconds, there was just a big, bad F-bomb that dropped. I'm like, what the? And I hit the dump button a couple of moments ago. And anyway, we went back to the drawing board and did a re-edit. So Andrew took it back into the editing room. We did a re-edit. So hopefully this has been totally de-F-bomb. All right, here we go. This is the audio from inside the Mexican grill.
It's a baby. It is a baby. Are you don't bring.
All right, that was it. So that is a male customer that's yelling at the screaming mad woman. He's standing up for the mother with the crying, making noise baby. And in the first 2 seconds, you hear him say, it's a baby, it's an effing baby. And that's what Andrew had missed. But we're going to let it slide. Everyone's entitled to let an F-bomb fly every once in a while. Just not good on a radio
Not
morning
on a radio.
show.
Yeah, it's actually a whole government agency regulating.
All right,
that.
here we go.
It's a baby. It is a baby. Are you don't bring your baby in a yelling at me,
Do you
guys.
hear this woman?
Wow.
I mean, this woman is out of her mind. She's like, don't bring a baby into a restaurant. What is wrong? Can you imagine her on an airplane in a tube for 3 hours with a crying baby behind her? What would happen then? My God. All right, let's play the audio in its entirety. Here we go.
It's a baby. It is a baby. Are you don't bring your baby in a yelling at me, goddamn. Don't yell at me.
I'm only yelling at you because you're yelling at me, and I'm trying to get you to.
No, I'm trying to tell you, if you plan on finishing your dinner, sit the
Calm
down
down and eat.
That's what I'm telling you.
Because other people are trying to have a conversation. That's what I did with my children. I didn't have it so loud where people at my table, at tables next to me, couldn't hear me talking. I don't.
So everybody in the damn restaurant. Listen, you start screaming at the top of your voice.
I never heard the baby.
We never even heard the baby over there.
Can you imagine being in this restaurant? My God.
I would love to have been there.
And can I point something else out again for the umpteenth millionth time? Don't cause a scene. People have camera phones that they use every moment of every day. The default mechanism in life today, in 2024, the default mechanism that you should always adhere to is you are being recorded. You are being videoed. Assume that you're going to end up on some social media site, on Instagram or the Chinese spy operation TikTok. You just got to go through life these days assuming that whatever you do is being recorded and it's going to end up on social media online. That's what you have to operate with that in mind because everyone's recording everything. You know, people get hurt. There are car accidents, and instead of people helping to render aid, they're standing on the sideline just videoing this stuff. That's what people are doing. It's a horror show these days.
That's what I do.
I went to the bathroom earlier. I could hear the baby in the bathroom. I'm sitting right there.
What baby?
I could hear.
You're a ignorant.
That was, you're a bleeping ignorant bitch, is I think of what he said there. Holy.
I can hear her talking. I can hear her baby in the bathroom.
So you started yelling at this baby.
No, we're gonna get everybody's food to go, and you're all gonna.
I'm just trying to get up out of my seat.
All right, and that's a cop now. That's the cop.
The woman who came in?
No,
the guy.
The second male voice.
The second male. Okay.
That's the police officer trying to say, everyone, we're going to get your food to go, and it's just time to leave. Everyone go home.
Let me out of the seat and she back me.
If we stay, people are going to jail.
Okay.
So get your food to go, pay your check, and go.
Okay.
That's the cop. Get your check and go. Everyone's food is going to be packed up to go. Get out of Jalapeno Jerry's.
Yeah.
Or whatever the hell the place. I'm sorry, the Jalapeno Grill.
Jalapeno Hank.
I like Jalapeno Jerry's.
I mean, I would go.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. Mexican restaurant, Karen Madman Meltdown or Mad Woman Meltdown over. I didn't hear the baby once in that whole. That's a minute and 15-second long video. I didn't hear the baby once in there.
That's a really good baby.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Are you ready for a creepy story?
Ooh, I like creepy.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to MJ Morning Show, Creepy Theater. This morning, it's the case of the mystery Post-its. An individual started getting weird Post-it note messages left inside their house. And they swear they don't know where they came from. They didn't write the Post-it notes. No clue. But you know what? The actual truth to the story is even scarier than, I think, the original premise. All right, here's the deal. You're probably saying, what the heck is MJ talking about here at 7:09 on a Wednesday morning? This person, a tenant renting a home, thought that they were getting stalked, thought that somebody was breaking into the home and leaving these Post-it notes, and they're trying to figure out what is going on. So on a Reddit subgroup, the story is told. This tenant, this renter, shared the story about what was happening inside their house from an unknown source or entity. Listen to what they wrote. On April 15th, I found, that was a Monday, by the way. That was tax day. That's when the U.S. Postal Service lost my my letters.
Yes.
Yep, with my 2 checks to the IRS. On the 15th of April, I found a yellow Post-it note in a handwriting that wasn't mine on my desk, reminding me about some errands I had to do, but told literally nobody about what had happened. The Reddit user initially speculated that a stalker or a burglar was playing a prank. They threw the notes away and tried to forget about what was going on until it happened again a couple of days later.
Can I make a guess?
Hang on. I was freaked out. There were no other signs of a break-in. They decided to set up home security cameras inside to see if they can find out who was going inside their home and leaving these suspicious Post-it notes on the desk and around the house. Found a suspicious message. Another one that read, "Our landlord isn't letting me talk to you, but it's important we do." What? Another Post-it note. Where are these coming from? The webcam footage that was set up showed absolutely no sign of an intruder leaving these Post-it notes inside this home. The Reddit user then turned to other users trying to figure out, hey, what's going on? What advice? Would contacting the police get me into any trouble if they can't determine an outside source for this? So it's almost like the tenant, the person that's having these weird Post-it notes show up, was afraid of potentially the perception of filing a false police report.
Right.
So they weren't even concerned about calling the police, thinking that somebody was stalking and breaking in. The person also asked, I want to make sure I'm not wasting anyone's time. Should I consult my landlord? Those that are also living in the complex? Some wondered whether the landlord was entering the unit without their knowledge. But the notes didn't make any sense in any kind of context for the landlord to be doing it. Well, then people suggested it's likely that you're writing the notes to yourself, but you are forgetting. All right, that was one of the suggestions. Now, Roxanne, what is your guess here that you'd like to...
These are Ambien notes.
Ooh.
Taking Ambien and then scribbling stuff to themselves.
Listen, there's a history of people on Ambien, driving in their car at 2 a.m, not even aware that they were, out of the house.
Wouldn't you recognize your own handwriting?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I know my handwriting instantly.
Joey B., former producer of the MJ Morning Show, he was on Ambien for a while, and he would cook in the middle of the night, full-blown Italian dinners.
Oh.
He woke up with, like, lasagna in his bed, like a whole Pyrex rectangular dish of lasagna, like a 6-layer lasagna. He had sauce all over his bed, ricotta cheese, everything.
Such a good cook.
And he was baking stuff in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
He had an episode for a while, or episodes, where he was cooking. Anyway, Roxanne, not a bad guess.
Okay.
Guess what someone suggested?
What?
Somebody suggested that the person might be suffering from...
Schizo?
Schizophrenia.
What? That's what it should be called.
That's a better name
It
than
is.
what it is.
Schizophrenia, and I meant to say split personality.
Split personality is splitophrenia. That's great. I love it. Accidental. Splitophrenia. No. Someone suggested that you might have carbon monoxide poisoning.
Huh?
Yep. So the individual got a CO detector, and it read 100 parts per million. It was CO2, or it was CO rather. I'm sorry. It was CO.
Yeah.
CO, not CO2. It was CO, carbon monoxide. There was some type of a leak in the apartment, and the carbon monoxide, the CO, was affecting this person. And this tenant was writing their own Post-it notes, and apparently was even writing in a handwriting that was unrecognizable because of the delirium brought on by the carbon monoxide poisoning. I had CO poisoning and thought my landlord was stalking me. It put him into a brain fog. So it was low levels, and it caused headache, fatigue, nausea, vomiting, but also caused them to, I guess, be somewhat delirious, and was not remembering that they were writing their own Post-it notes and sticking them in the home.
Then wouldn't the camera have caught them doing it?
Well, but they saw nothing odd. That the individual was just, I guess, writing their own notes, or maybe the cameras were just aimed toward the doors and windows. So it didn't see anyone coming in, and then the notes would appear. How about that? Listen, this is why I always recommend having a CO detector in your home. I travel with a CO detector. In fact, where's my phone? I literally just answered an email this morning from a listener. Let me, here we go. Hi, listen, from Tina Thomas. Hi, MJ. Can you please tell me the brand of the carbon monoxide detectors that you talk about? My son just bought a camper, and I want to make sure that he's got one of those detectors in there. And I remember you always talking about a really good one. Thanks, Tina. And I sent Tina a note back with a link to Amazon. And the one that I love, it's a sealed 10-year lithium battery. And it's Kidde, Kidde. It's Kidde carbon monoxide detector with 10-year battery, digital display, 3 LEDs, and that I've got numerous ones around the house, and I travel. There's always one in my luggage. Wherever we go, I have the CO detector in my luggage in case there's a leak or some kind of problem where we're staying at a hotel, and there have been cases where people have, succumbed to carbon monoxide inside a hotel or motel. So, if you just do a search for the Kidde 10-year battery portable CO detector, that's the one I recommend, and it's been phenomenal. 7:16 at the MJ Morning Show. You got to take a look at this Justin Timberlake pile. This is out of control. So many details since the story broke about 9 a.m. yesterday morning about Justin Timberlake being busted for DUI out in the Hamptons on Long Island. A lot of details have come out, including his past drinking issues. So we got to dive into the whole Justin Timberlake situation. And that's just a fraction of what's next as we start an hour and 20 minutes of non-stop MJ next here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Two college brothers. 5 MJ and a crew, 728, running just a few minutes later than I like to, but that doesn't change things. You still get over an hour and 20 minutes of non-stop MJ. The breaking news yesterday broke right around 9 o'clock yesterday morning was that Justin Timberlake, JT, who was just in town last Friday night, concert downtown, Amalie Arena. My daughter Chloe was there buying the exorbitantly priced tickets for $350.
Stop.
No, I just don't think it was.
Tickets are a lot of money.
I don't think. Look, I'll stick with it. You know, I'm not being Karen Dad here.
A little bit.
No, what do you mean a little bit?
A little bit. Tickets are a lot of money. Okay, fine.
Well, listen, I'm allowed to have an opinion that $350 for Justin Timberlake's tickets are out of control.
Too low, if you ask me.
Yeah, whatever.
It's on a good show.
Yeah, whatever.
$500.
Yeah, NSYNC was awesome.
Anyway, I have a pile of Justin Timberlake follow-up stories here. And I think I have 10 different stories. A lot of information came out. You know, the mug shot didn't come out until yesterday afternoon, and you can tell he's all glassed over. His eyes are bloodshot. He looks like he was hammered. Yeah, let me just go through this pile. Justin Timberlake's mug shot. Bloodshot, glassy eyes, moments after his drunk driving arrest in the Hamptons. Yeah, mugshot shows him with glassy eyes. 43-year-old Timberlake was enjoying, clearly, imbibing a bit too much in a dinner with friends at the American Hotel in Sag Harbor, Long Island. He got behind the wheel of a 2025 gray BMW just after midnight and was virtually immediately pulled over by cops, almost like they're just sitting there waiting. And there's more information regarding that. There's a notorious, infamous stop sign that apparently is a total fishing hole. By the way, that's cop slang. Mm-hmm. A fishing hole is where a cop sits, where people are speeding all day long, and a cop can sit there with the laser gun or the radar and just pick off folks left and right. That's called a fishing hole.
Great.
Yeah. So this stop sign in Sag Harbor apparently is a fishing hole. So he leaves this American Hotel bar restaurant and pulls out of the parking lot or immediately rolls through the stop sign. They light him up and boom. And apparently he reeked of alcohol. Stopped by the police virtually minutes after leaving. He claimed to the cops that he only had one martini.
Attaboy.
Let me give you some other cop stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, Michelle was a prosecutor. Michelle was a Hillsborough County assistant state attorney prosecutor. You know, she started out with a lot of DUI cases, and that was like the number one response in the police reports.
I only had one.
Suspect. It was 2 beers.
2 beers.
2 beers. That's like that is like the number one response. Survey says top answer on the board. 2 beers. That's all I had. Survey says. Oh, number one answer on the board. 2 beers. Yeah. You ask any cop that pulled someone over, well, how much did you have to drink tonight, sir or ma'am? 2 beers. It's the number one response. So he claimed he had one martini, but a witness told the New York Post that Timberlake was wasted to the point where he picked up another man's drink off the table and drank that when the guy went to the bathroom.
Yeah, that was the one he was talking about.
Oh, my God. That's like Spalding in Caddyshack picking up the drinks off the table. And remember, he got a cigarette butt in the mouth?
Spalding got a couple of things in the mouth.
Officers at the scene reported that his eyes were bloodshot, glassy, strong odor of alcohol coming from his breath. He was unable to divide attention. He had slowed speech. He was unsteady on his feet. Performed poorly on the standardized field sobriety test. He did refuse the blow. So he did not blow. So we don't have a blood alcohol content. So he refused to blow into. I would imagine that Sag Harbor Police have the Intoxilizer 8000, is what I'm guessing. That's the actual machine.
So they didn't know they were pulling Justin Timberlake over until they pulled him over.
No. even then, the cop didn't know. That's a whole different story. I told you, I have a whole pile of Justin Timberlake stories.
How do you
here.
not know you're pulling over JT?
He's a country fan.
Wait until you hear this. So, Timberlake, in the past, has acknowledged having alcohol problems. Timberlake has discussed his excessive drinking issues. Refused to take the breathalyzer. He was asked 3 times to take the breathalyzer, and he said no, apparently. Also, there's surveillance footage of Timberlake's car. This is like 12:37 yesterday morning. This is after midnight yesterday, early Tuesday. It was Monday night into Tuesday morning, and there's even a video of him. He's driving, looks like a BMW X5, a gray X5, and there's even surveillance video, but he ran the stop sign. Yeah, he was arraigned in Suffolk County Court later on Tuesday morning after our show, and then was released yesterday afternoon. He failed to stay in his lane as well. That was another one of the charges that the cop hit him up with.
Now, I'm going to say the thing that we always say. Why didn't he have somebody drive him? Where was a driver?
Yeah.
Where was it, an SUV to come swoop him up and take him where he needed to go?
Where was his car service?
Right.
I guess he had no security. He had, a lot of these celebrities, and Justin Timberlake's worth a fortune. He had no, executive protection with him, which that would have prevented him from driving.
You're right. Or just a buddy there to be like, let's call an Uber. I didn't mention it at the time because he wasn't in the news, but I don't know if I told you, MJ, but I ran into him over New Year's Eve. In New Year's Eve, I saw him and Jessica.
What?
Hold on, you just saw them at a distance,
in the Bahamas.
Or you ran into them?
Well, I mean,
did you speak to them?
They said hello. Yeah, it was a pool party. But it was for kids. So I was going to say he was not at all drunk then. He was completely within his faculties. But it was a kids party. Yeah, it was a kids party.
He could have had those juice boxes filled with gin.
Why was Justin Timberlake at a kids party in the Bahamas?
It was like
does he hang out at Chuck E. Cheese also?
Well, no, he has children.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have little kids.
Jessica Biel.
Yes,
right?
Jessica Biel. Mm-hmm. She's not hard on the eyes.
No, and let me tell you, I've told the story in the past. This is, I'm trying to think when we were over, maybe 2016, 2017. Michelle and I and the kids, we were over in Italy. We did a summer vacation in Italy, and Michelle got some recommendation from somewhere about this driver over on the Amalfi Coast. He'll pick you up at the ferry or wherever we got in. So he'll pick you up at the ferry, and then he'll give you a day tour. He'll drive you all up and down the Amalfi Coast, up to Positano and everything. And, it's a gorgeous part of Italy. And Michelle found a recommendation for this driver, and the driver was fantastic. He had like a Mercedes van, and it was just a nice ride. It was a nice vehicle. The driver was fantastic. The driver told us that just a few days ago that he had Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel as passengers, that they had hired him as well for him to drive them up and down, Ravana. There's all kinds of real cool places up around Positano, on the Amalfi Coast. And in the exact same vehicle Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel were in the vehicle just days earlier. But the point I'm trying to make is the driver said that they were really, really nice, that they were excellent. He had mentioned, and our driver spoke great English. The driver said that he's had numerous celebrities in his vehicle over the years that were total, D-bags. Wow. And he even mentioned names. I don't know if Michelle still remembers some of the names that he mentioned, but I just wanted to throw in a couple of, little props for Justin Timberlake, that apparently he was a very nice, well-behaved passenger. Different story up in Sag Harbor early yesterday morning, and this is where the cop story comes in. According to sources telling Page 6 that he was at the American Hotel with a bunch of friends Monday night into Tuesday morning. There were cops stationed outside where he was having dinner. So is that like a known, like I said, fishing hole where they're waiting for people to leave late at night after they've clearly been drinking?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but you would think that some of the locals or some of the people there would warn patrons at the restaurant to not have too much to drink and then go get caught.
After Timberlake left, they were told that cops pulled him over virtually immediately for the traffic sign violation, also not staying in his lane. His friends were telling the police, let him go, let him go, according to some people that saw what was going on.
Yeah, that doesn't help anything.
Listen to this.
The crowd wants us to let him go.
The cop who pulled Justin Timberlake over was so young, he didn't even know who the 10-time Grammy winner was. Wait a minute. How young of a cop do you have to be not to know who Justin Timberlake is?
All right, so let's talk about this. A couple of weeks ago,
we
talked about, I think we specifically mentioned Justin Timberlake, how his career is having that problem to where he was kind of out of the mainstream for a little while, almost to the degree of irrelevancy. If he's a 23-year-old cop, Justin Timberlake was famous before that.
But the point is, my daughter Chloe is 22.
Just went to his concert.
Yeah.
Chloe loves Justin Timberlake, knows who Justin Timberlake was. Chloe overpaid for concert tickets and was just in downtown Tampa on Friday night at Amalie Arena for his concert right here in town.
Yeah.
Does Chloe's boyfriend know who he is?
This cop
Isn't
an NSYNC fan.
He doesn't sit there and listen to Justin Timberlake.
Say this guy grew up in upstate New York, gets a job out in the old Sag Harbor being a cop at 23.
But my 7-year-old is really into Justin Timberlake. She knows who he is. Like how I don't know. Just fall off a turnip truck.
According to sources, the police officer was so young, didn't know who he was, didn't recognize his name or his face.
Okay, this guy sounds like a Martian. He just arrived from...
I don't recognize you.
And then the other thing to come out of this was that Justin allegedly told the cop, quote, this is going to ruin the tour. And the cop says, what tour? Exactly.
What tour?
The cop says, what tour? And then Justin says, the world tour. So the cop didn't know. Listen, when you hear a young Sag Harbor, Long Island cop, you think maybe, 20, 21 at the youngest, maybe 22, 23. And again, let me see if Chloe's around. She's getting ready to go to her internship. Hold on.
You know what?
When they asked him who's going to be driving him home, do you know what Justin said?
What did he say?
It's going to be me.
That's really funny.
Did he have a dirty pop at the restaurant?
Yes.
Hey, Chloe, are you listening to the show right now?
No, I just put it on for the dogs. I'm getting ready upstairs.
You're putting the show on for the dogs?
Yeah, I think they like to listen to you in the morning.
Okay. Hey, guys. Hey, Gatsby. Hey, Scout. Scout. Squirrel. Outside. Squirrel. Look, squirrel. Are they barking? All right. So, we're on delay. It takes 20 seconds. All right. So, when I say to you that the cop that pulled Justin Timberlake over on Eastern Long Island didn't recognize him or his name, and then you hear that the cop was a young cop who didn't even know who Justin Timberlake was, how old would you imagine the cop would have to be to not know who Justin Timberlake was? If you're 22 and you know who Justin Timberlake is?
The cop would have to be like 10 years old. How do you not know who that is?
Yeah, that's my point. I don't know how, assuming that...
If you're not into that, you're not into it.
I'm guessing the minimum age to get hired by the Sag Harbor Police Department is probably 21. Just a guess. So let's say the guy's 21, 22, 23, 24. How do you not know who Justin Timberlake is? That doesn't make any sense. And Chloe, how do you feel? I mean, you just saw him on stage. You had pretty good seats. You claim that Justin Timberlake looked at you and your friend. Is that true?
Yes, I swear.
Oh, God.
Looked right at you.
Yes, and waved right at us.
And how do you feel that just days later he was pulled over and arrested for DWI up in New York? How do you feel about that?
No comment. I just hope he wears a suit and tie to court.
Good one.
Now, have you taken anything away from the story? And you know you never drink and drive. You don't even have one. Don't even have one drink and then drive.
I know. I just think it's kind of crazy that I saw him, and I never go to concerts, and the one concert I go to, of course, like this happened.
Yeah, you jinxed him. That was a total jinx. All right.
Best of luck to him.
Have fun at your internship today.
All righty, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, so this is going to ruin the world tour. Cop says, what tour?
Yeah, cop doesn't know.
No idea who the guy was.
I can see how a young man into that path that leads you to law enforcement just isn't into anything that Justin Timberlake does.
You know, he's had a little bit of a rough time, and a lot of people, I think, have forgotten some of the things with Justin.
How's he had a rough time? He's had a charmed life.
Nipplegate, he was shut down for a while after the whole Janet Jackson Nipplegate, where he rips off that little nipple trap door on her leather bustier, whatever that thing was.
You want to talk about who's a real creep?
Who?
Justin Timberlake. His career has advanced at the exploitation of women.
All right, well, go ahead and clarify. Let me hear your story.
What was the collateral damage for Justin Timberlake long term for Nipplegate?
Nothing. Nada.
Right.
Janet Jackson.
Yeah, she got hammered.
She got hammered.
Yeah.
Britney Spears. It's crazy.
Well,
Justin Timberlake. How did you? He exploited. Britney exploited. Janet.
Hang on. Let me get to that. So you have
he's playing the long game with Jessica Biel.
You look at Justin Timberlake, Nipplegate, the Britney Spears situation that came out with the Britney book that Justin Timberlake forced her to have an abortion. Justin Timberlake had some of the Me Too things kind of crop up with the whole Britney Spears situation. So he's had, some drama over the years. So he's not, completely clean.
But he's on Trolls, and the kids love the song.
When was that Super Bowl halftime show? That was, 2004?
Sounds about right.
I think that was 2004. Man, that was a mess. That was such a disaster for radio, for morning shows, and that's when all the morning shows and radio stations put in the delay units, and we were all scared. We all had to have sensitivity training, and that whole Nipplegate thing at the Super Bowl halftime show, that caused such a ruckus and an uproar in the radio industry that every radio personality was afraid of saying like the wrong word or anything that was surmised and not even said directly, and everyone was walking on eggshells. Do you remember some of the meetings we had? We had to go through training, and like the corporate lawyers were putting the fear of God in us. Be careful what you say. We were on the air worried about every freaking word that came out of our mouth that it could be our last show. And that was all brought on by the FCC crackdown and Nipplegate, and then the whole thing trickled down to radio and became a raging five-alarm fire. That was a terrible time.
Yeah, let's not forget we actually hate Justin Timberlake.
No, he screwed us.
Yeah, let's not forget.
That whole Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake thing, that made radio people like us miserable for a couple of years. And I'm not going to forget that.
Yeah, I don't feel sorry for Justin, what happened in the last 24 hours up in Sag Harbor. But that mugshot, MJ, is that drunk or is that crying?
Oh, he looks pretty glassed over.
Really, he does.
He looks handsome.
Yeah. Well, listen, even if he's taking a drunk mugshot, he still looks like he's a good-looking guy. And then wrapping up on Justin Timberlake here, he struggled with a drinking problem for years. And, here,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know this either. Listen to this, again, from Page 6. Justin Timberlake's issues with alcohol go way back, sources tell Page 6, exclusively. It's not a secret. Everyone knows. A music insider who was privy to the information 2 years ago claims he has a real drinking problem, a lot of weed, but a major alcohol problem, and he's been hiding and masking it for years. Another source, however, tells us Timberlake had not been drinking for a while prior to his DWI arrest on yesterday, and even lost weight and was living a healthier lifestyle, including cutting out booze before the April launch of his Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Timberlake's alleged secret reared its ugly head when he was charged with driving while intoxicated, DWI up in New York, just after midnight. A source close to the singer told us that cops stationed outside the restaurant pulled him over for the traffic violation. After blowing through a stop sign and swerving on the road, he refused the breathalyzer. First source believes Timberlake's alleged penchant for boozing got to him and that everyone around him have been enablers. It's a real thing when you have a drinking problem. It's apparent, yet they've pushed this tour on him, and he's been in a very dark place, the insider claims. You know, Justin also, before the launch of this tour, his last CD, his last album, kind of bombed. I don't think it did well at all. And Justin, after the Britney Spears revelation in the book about him forcing Britney allegedly to have an abortion, he kind of fell off the face for a while. And yeah, he was kind of in an invisible zone for a while.
Yeah. All right.
There you go. All the Justin Timberlake that you need. That's, I think that's pretty much everything. I think you're up to speed on what's going on. And there's one other thing, that if he is convicted, he'll likely get a slap on the wrist, not because of who he is. He would face up to a year in jail if found guilty, but his attorney, Eddie Burke Jr., will likely make a bid for a lesser charge of driving while ability impaired. Yeah, that's a violation as opposed to a crime.
Maybe he sees all this drunken behavior as working for Morgan Wallen.
Oh, good point.
And he's trying to,
yeah,
up his ante a little bit. The Morgan throws chairs off of things, and he's fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, see, that's what I was going to ask. Is this going to ruin the World Tour?
Yeah, I mean, please.
Is it going to ruin it?
He'll be in Chicago this next weekend, and he'll be in New York next weekend.
Give him some fodder to talk about on stage.
7:50, my promoted and teased item for 7:45, just running a few minutes late, is a millionaire's advice for traveling. And with the travel summer on, and you've seen all the reports that air travel is like at the highest rate, I think, in history. You have virtually every plane is packed. Fares are up. A lot of the good deals have gone away. There is a millionaire who is suggesting a travel tip. And the millionaire is saying, I never, ever buy first class tickets. Guy says he can afford them, doesn't buy them because he thinks it's a total waste when you can get a economy or an economy plus ticket for a fraction of the cost. And his rationale is, you're on the plane for a couple of hours. Why are you spending all that extra money for a first class ticket?
Yes, I was wondering the same thing.
And
yes.
If he gets upgraded, he gets upgraded. Listen, I don't buy. I've never purchased the first ever in the only time. And I'm talking domestically.
This is the tip.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a valuable.
The tip is don't buy first class.
Hang on a minute.
If you're a millionaire.
Okay, this is the 2%er tip you're giving right here.
I'm just saying, but it should trickle down to regular people like us who should listen to what he's saying, that don't waste your money on somewhat short flights and buying first class. Go ahead, buy coach. You're in that seat. Listen, I just flew Spirit Airlines, and I didn't even upgrade to a better seat selection. I rolled the Spirit Airlines wheel of seats. I did not pick a seat. I did this. I did not get upcharged by Spirit for anything. Okay. I bought the cheap ass tickets at $59 a pop from Tampa to Fort Lauderdale and back. I had a little small carry-on, a personal item, so I didn't get charged for having a full-size carry-on. I did not pick my seat at checkout for another $21 or $36. I just spun the wheel and decided I'll let them give me a random seat. And again, the Spirit hack is don't check in right away. Do not. If you're on Spirit, they're trying to force you to buy a seat. Oh, you never know what seat you're going to get. You want to pick your seat right now for $21, $36, $46 extra? Don't do it. And don't check in right away. When the 24 hours hits and you get the notification, time to check in, don't resist the urge. I waited until my check-in time was like 10 a.m. I didn't check in until after midnight.
Whoa.
And I ended up with an aisle seat in row 7.
Shut up.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, because you have to watch the
We
seat.
get it. We understand
But
the whole
hang
theory
on.
behind it.
You have to watch the seating chart because Spirit fills the random seats. They fill from the back of the plane.
Right. We heard that the first 3 times. Listen,
Okay.
Hey, but the millionaire's tip
Why are
is
you being a smart ass?
because the millionaire's tip is not by first class.
Well, I'm super excited because we are flying to Europe.
Oh, great.
And-
Hey, Roxanne, let me give you a millionaire's tip.
Wait.
What?
So, this is awesome. I used my best judgment, I guess, because the business class was $19,000, and I passed on that.
What? Hold on,
I passed on that
what?
with Coach.
All right.
Hold on.
So
wait. Hang on a second.
Thank
The-
goodness I didn't even. I did what the billionaire suggested, or millionaire.
Business class was $19,000.
Yes, for two.
Where? So like $9,500 a piece.
Yes, $9,500 a piece.
Oh my God!
Yep.
All right.
What?
Increase.
What airline?
Increase. Air Italia.
All right.
So I made the right
Wow.
decision. I didn't even need to hear this guy's advice, and I made the right decision.
Roxanne, this millionaire would be proud of you for not buying first class.
Right?
I thought the millionaire's tip was like, how to keister drugs or something. Or
What do you mean? How to,
tip people could use.
how
I
to
mean,
shove heroin up your butt
I
while
mean-
you travel? That's what you thought the tip was?
my millionaire tip. Don't
Get
buy
out-
first
get outta
class. Hmm.
The millionaire is saying that he's a millionaire and he does not waste money on first class, that he can hack the couple of 2-3 hours. The one exception is if you're flying overseas and you've got an 8, 9, 10, 12-hour flight, if you can shop around.
Shop around.
I can't do that.
Did
Couldn't
you
do that.
take obnoxious pills today?
The tip is not to buy first class. That's your tip.
It's not my tip. It's the millionaire's tip.
Hey, let me give you some really great tips. Don't buy the most expensive ticket on the plane.
But it sounds like he is saying that for long trips you should buy the most expensive ticket. But it was funny before we knew that they were $9,500.
No,
a
he's
piece.
never saying buy the most expensive. And when I've taken some overseas trips, if you shop around and maybe you don't do the route that you would be naturally
want?
inclined to take. Well, hang on a minute. Like, for instance, I've taken some trips overseas to do some dive trips, and Michelle, my lovely wife, is like an expert travel agent. She knows how to find the deals. And for instance, we were flying, Julian and I were flying to the Maldives when I took Julian on a scuba trip. And Michelle found that not leaving from Miami, Atlanta, or New York saved us a fortune. Michelle found that we could fly for half the price in business class by flying Tampa to Chicago and then flying over to Doha in Qatar. And it was half the price. So if you shop around, you can get decent deals for really long 12, 13, 14-hour
Right, you have
flights.
to be committed to
next time I'm going
flexibility.
to Gutter, I'll look into that.
But-
So when we first started to look at the flights, and Doug was like, "Okay, do you want to try to go for business class?" And I said, it's going to be too expensive. Let's save our money. And then we found out how expensive it really was. But I said to myself, I'm just going to be on the plane for 10 hours. I just need something to knock me out. It doesn't matter if I'm in business class or coach class.
What do you want to get roofied?
Right. So
I'm
bringing.
Doug go to his dealer and get some roofies?
Yeah, so I'm going to take melatonin. I mean, that's for starters. I've got that. But if anyone has anything stronger that they can give me that will just knock me out, and I won't know if I'm in business class.
Are you looking for like illegal drugs or unauthorized prescriptions to be given to you to knock you out?
I mean, I do. It is a 10-hour flight, and I just want to get on it and then not know where I am for the next 10 hours. Is that too much to ask?
And by the way, I was not implying that Doug has a roofie dealer.
Thank you.
Or any kind of a dealer at all. I was just,
Unfortunately.
Well, wait a second.
Because we could
Wait
use
a
them
minute.
right now.
Are you saying you wish Doug had a roofie dealer? What are you?
I'm not saying I want to get roofied, but maybe like a Xanax or, just something to take the edge off and knock you out.
Right now, I wish I had a roofie dealer.
Listen, let me be very, very clear about something.
Yes.
If people are buying drugs and you don't know what the provenance is, if you don't have a legally prescribed tranquilizer or anxiety medication, and you're buying crap off the streets these days,
that's a joke,
but you are playing Russian roulette.
Yes.
Because I saw a story, some college girl bought what she thought was a Percocet. It was fentanyl, and the college, she died.
Yeah, I bet.
Of a fentanyl overdose. So,
horrific.
Again, why don't you go to your doctor and ask him for some Xanax?
Well, it's on my to-do list.
Go to your doctor and ask him for some knockout pills or whatever. Don't try
I've got melatonin for now, and then we're going to move to the harder stuff if I can get in to see my physician.
You want to hear about a lawsuit against Geico that's insane?
Yes.
A woman is demanding that Geico, the lizard car insurance company, or the gecko.
It's a gecko. It's not a lizard.
The gecko.
I mean, it's still an amphibian, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you're complaining about our airplane content and your phone's going off on the show?
I set an alarm. We have a visitor coming. That was my alarm to let me know that they're coming about this time.
We've got the Aldi customer service, customer relations smooth over deal coming up.
That's exactly
it's what it is.
You've worded that perfectly.
Thank you. Now I'm getting high marks from Fester.
I call it like I see it.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, I'll still tell him not to buy first class tickets. That was very useful information.
Listen, we have the Aldi video situation on the motorized shopping cart which torqued off exactly one listener. And I've stepped up. I've opened up the MJ Morning Show customer service department, and I've invited the angry listener and her son Riley into the studio, and they will join us in a few minutes. And if you don't know what happened with the Aldi motorized scooter video that I shot and put on my Instagram, you'll hear the story, and Fester's going to go let them in.
Get him.
Well, can't you send Andrew to let him in?
Do you really want him to meet Andrew?
Just send Andrew.
You come all this way.
Andrew, can you just let our guests in, please? They're in the lobby.
And you meet Andrew?
All right. I had to smooth things over, all right? And I'll explain the whole story. I was chastised. We even talked about this on the air with phone callers. I thought that it was insane, but I'm trying to smooth things over. And I'll explain coming up. All right, back to the Geico deal. This is insane. Woman is suing Geico, demanding that they pay her $1 million after she contracted an STD in her partner's car, and he was insured by Geico.
Okay, but she got it from her partner then, right?
Well, she didn't get it from the car. I mean, she got it from the partner. Yeah.
I'm just making sure it was him she was hooking up with in his car.
Well, that's the whole story. Is he has Geico insurance, claims that he gave her an STD so that Geico has liability because they insured the car? I've seen some crazy crap. A federal appeals court heard arguments on whether Geico should cough up benefits to this woman who claims that she got a sexually transmitted disease from the guy whose car she was having the sexual relations in, and he's insured by Geico. The case is Geico General Insurance Company versus M.O., a Missouri woman claims that her partner, Martin Bronner, negligently infected her with HPV, which is the human papilloma virus, after they had relations in his 2014 Hyundai Genesis.
I'll tell you what, man, 2014 Hyundai Genesis was a
very roomy back seat, apparently.
There was
right?
room to do it, man.
She claims that Bronner was aware he had HPV, but neglected to inform her before they had unprotected relations.
Does insurance companies ask those questions before they issue you a policy?
Come on, how is this even remotely covered? What kind of expectation does this person really? Give me a break. So she saying that she's looking for past and future medical expenses, mental and physical pain and suffering. Back in February of 2021, M.O., her initials, filed a $1 million claim against Bronner and his insurer, Maryland-based Geico, claiming that she should be compensated for bodily injury under the car's insurance policy because she's claiming that she contracted the STD, and that is bodily injury of which he had coverage for bodily injury for the driver and the occupants in the car.
I mean, if she got pregnant in the car, would she sue Geico for child support?
Oh, my God. Geico is saying, no, we're not paying out the fact that you got HPV, that you got a sexually transmitted infection. We're not paying this out.
Say it like say it like a British gecko.
Oh. Excuse me. Excuse me. We're not paying out this ridiculous claim. Look at me. I'm the Geico Gecko. I'm here to tell you that you're a raving lunatic. Is that what you want to hear?
I thought he was Australian.
I don't know. What
would Flo do?
I don't know. Flo's over at Progressive.
She probably would have covered it.
Yes, Flo would pay.
Or maybe Flo had the flow and it wouldn't have happened anyway.
Oh, Flo, she's so hot.
All right, I'm sorry.
Listen, can't win them all.
Listen.
They're not all home runs.
I don't know.
Babe Ruth struck out a lot.
And Willie Mays died.
Oh, poor Willie.
Yeah, what a sweet guy. Yeah, Willie Mays. News broke late last night. Willie Mays dead at the age of 93. That's a hell of a life, man. 93 years old. Wow. So Geico refused to pay the claim, saying that the injury did not occur in the normal use of the automobile. I would concur. I think this is a frivolous, absolutely ridiculous claim.
Hold on. Hey, Geico, doing it in the back seat is normal use of the vehicle. Okay?
Okay.
I mean, what if there was like a back injury? Would Geico cover that?
Maybe, yeah.
In the Commission of Relations? Yeah, in March of 2023, a U.S. District Judge, Fernando Gayton Jr., gave a favorable ruling to Geico. Upon review of the parties' arguments, the court finds that consensual sexual relations inside a car do not constitute a use of the automobile within the meaning of the subject policy.
What if she would have said she got rear-ended?
But this story continues. So that was the ruling handed down by the lower court. So now the latest round is she's appealing the lower court. So now it's before a U.S. appeals court.
You take it to the Supreme Court.
This is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, every day, I've never heard of this in my life.
No.
Should we go around the room and ask how many of us had relations in cars?
Dude, every one of my cars. Everyone.
Ew.
Yeah, everyone.
Imagine walking by that scene.
Yeah, everyone.
Look, there's a manatee mating in the back of that car.
How did that whale get in the car?
Dude, one time I was at a rest area, and I looked over, and there was a trucker about 100 yards away smoking, watching me.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah. You know the rest area in South Hillsborough County off of 75? That one.
Dude.
Yeah.
All right. Fester, why don't you introduce our guest? Can you bring microphone number 4 out of hibernation over there?
Yes. This is the listener who hates you more than any other.
Hold on. Come on over. Come on over.
Get on the other side.
Get in between.
Me and Roxanne.
And you know what? I know people are saying, MJ, you did not ask Roxanne about prior automobile history.
I just wasn't going to answer you one way or the other.
Did you want to volunteer anything?
No, I don't. I don't. I
Okay.
mean, my daughter said something funny to me yesterday that I was going to volunteer. She said to me, Mom, she goes, when's the first time Dad saw you naked? And it occurs
This is
to
your
me,
7-year-old daughter?
Yes. But because it occurs to her that I change clothes, she knows, like, they're learning about protect your body. You know, it's your private body. But she sees me walk around the house with, whatever, no clothes on sometimes.
Hold on. You walk around the house just naked in front of your kids?
Yeah.
I have 2 girls. Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
That's
I
why the
absolutely
resale
do.
value on the house is so high because of the neighbors.
No.
Like, and the other thing is the neighbor next door.
Yeah, you run from the bathroom to the laundry room to get something to put on. It's not a big deal.
I
So
mean,
she knows.
Are you cooking them dino nuggets in the nude?
No, nothing like
All
that.
right.
But if you have, in other words, I
not
realize
with
it
a
is
fryer.
Just asking.
process in her brain that, okay, Dad has seen Mom with no clothes on. She doesn't know if I've seen him with no clothes on because he is a never nude. He's always dressed. And so she's like, when did you first let him see you with no clothes on? And I go, and I was like stalling. She goes, what did he like sneak and look at you in the shower? And I go, I don't know. I go, I can't remember, but I think it was after we decided we were going to have babies together. That's when I let him see me naked.
Michelle,
Is that a good answer?
My lovely wife Michelle has resorted to calling me Florida slob.
Because you're shirtless all the time.
I like taking my shirt off in the house.
Yeah.
My pants are on, but what grumbling and mumbling are you making over there?
Michelle is exactly right with this Florida slob thing. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who can hit the nail on the head almost every time. It's Michelle.
That is the state of haute couture that I am currently described as Florida slob, and the last couple of years I've just enjoyed being in the house. I come into the house. I like just taking my shirt off. I like the coolness of the air conditioning on my upper torso. If I'm sitting and I'm watching television, I'm sitting on the couch, I've got my laptop in my lap, and I'm doing show prep. I just enjoy having my shirt off. And I got Michelle and Chloe are like complaining about it constantly. It's like I'm in my own damn house. What's the difference? If I was poolside, you wouldn't be complaining about me sitting outside on a chaise lounge with no shirt on. So what's the problem? Anyway, all right, back over to our guest. Fester, would you please make the introduction?
Yeah, that was a hell of an intro.
Sidetrack. We got a little sidetrack on
Yes.
that. Yep.
All right, so back to the listener that hates you more than any other. We have Kim from Tampa, who is very passionate about your recent Instagram video of you in the handicapped scooter or mobility scooter at the Aldi recently. And she also brought in her son, Riley, who's off to my side here.
All right, so Kim, step up to the mic, and you got to get right on that mic.
Yeah, talk a little loud.
Kim, welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Hi, how are you? Well, hold on, wait, what is this?
Is that mic not work?
Hold on a minute. This place is a dump.
It really
hang
is.
on, let me try this now. I got to hit the L.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So I have to hit certain buttons to make the whole studio is jury rigged. The whole studio is just a mess. So Kim, welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Kim,
thank you.
You're from the Tampa Bay area.
Yes.
And a little closer to the mic. And where do you live actually?
South Tampa, Belmar Shores, right behind Dead Bops too.
Oh yeah, so I mean we're very close to each other.
Yeah.
Have you seen me cruising up and down West Shore?
I think I've seen you walking with your weighted vest.
Yeah. I'm walking along. I'm walking along West Shore all the time. I look like I'm a SWAT team guy ready to kick in some meth lab door. But so you don't live far from me, and you've been an MJ Morning Show listener for a long time, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my oldest son is 29, and I remember taking him to high school listening to you.
All right, and I torqued you off because I went to Aldi with my son Julian up in, is that Citrus Park?
Yeah, sure.
The Aldi right at like Sheldon Road and Linebaugh. And I've never really shopped in an Aldi. We popped into an Aldi up in Harlem when we were up in New York. There's one up at 125th on the east side. And I popped in, and it looked like a bomb went off. And I just, oh, my God. We walked out. But I finally actually went into an Aldi, and the one that we went into at Citrus Park area was very clean and orderly. And, again, I think I prefer Trader Joe's, the other brother to Aldi. I think I prefer Trader Joe's a little more than Aldi, but I did enjoy the Aldi experience. What I didn't like was I didn't have a quarter for the shopping cart. And you got to put a quarter in the handle, and they're all chained together. So the quarter releases, and what the whole premise is, if you got a quarter invested, that you're going to bring the shopping cart back, get your quarter back. It's like a deposit. And some people are like, oh, MJ, you so cheap, you won't put a quarter in the... No, it's not that. I didn't have a quarter. I don't have pocket change. In fact, I've got this crazy pocket change story, which I didn't get to yesterday, that we've got to talk. You're going to be blown away by something.
Is a quarter involved?
Quarters are involved.
Because You really could have used it.
Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters. You're going to be blown away. Anyway, so I go to Aldi, didn't have a quarter for the shopping cart. And I'm like, I don't have a quarter. And like I was asking someone, hey, can I get that cart? And they're like, no. And because they're bringing it back to get the quarter back.
You got to buy it from them in the parking lot. It's like a transaction.
I didn't have a quarter. I have like a $20 bill. I'm not giving you a $20 bill for the shopping cart.
What if he gave you $19.75 and change?
All right, listen. All right, so here's the deal. I noticed that there was a mobility scooter just abandoned in the middle of the parking lot. I'm like, it's got a shopping basket on front. So I got on the mobility scooter, and I just started cruising around the Aldi. And I'm like, you know what? This is content. Let me have Julian shoot a video. I shot a quick video. It's up on my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio. And, well, Kim, the listener, got all torqued off, bent out of shape. You're just ripping me a new one. And, well, Kim, I wanted to make amends. Because you had said, what if somebody needed this? I was only on the cart for 5 minutes, and I saw, no people with, broken bones on crutches need the mobility scooter. I was joking around when I said that I raced to the scooter and I pushed a 90-year-old woman with a walker and oxygen tubes up her nose. I was joking about that. That was not real. But anyway,
I actually pulled up Kim's comment if you'd like to see what she wrote.
So
it's okay to use the cart.
Hang on. So this is Kim's original comment on my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio. Fester, would you like to dramatically read it?
So, it's okay to use a cart made for the disabled community. And I loved how on your show this morning, you said, in the 7 minutes you used it, there was no way someone else needed it. You're a well-known personality in this community. So, what if everyone does this because you said it's okay? Do you also use handicap parking? Because you're only going to be a minute. Well, I would love to sit down.
Fester, why are you reading this
and have a
voice?
conversation with you on how ableist your reel and comments on your show really are.
I'm an ableist.
Or are you just going to say, give me a break, like you did this morning? Living with a loved one with a disability is tough sometimes.
I get it.
And people like you who belittle their needs are part of the problem. Do better, MJ.
Can you also point out that Kim misused the word there?
I mean, really, her grammar could use a little work.
It should have been the THEIR and not the. Anyway, Kim, it is a pleasure to have you in the studio, and I wanted to invite you here to make amends and invite your son Riley.
Who's laughing at me?
Who's laughing hysterically? Hey, Riley.
He thinks it's funny.
This is the most entertainment Riley's had in 5 years.
Oh, let's not go crazy. But let's, did I read it with the proper inflection and enthusiasm that you your intentions were, Kim?
Yes, completely.
All right, good.
Yes.
That was a wonderful reading.
But Kim has been. Hold on. What, Riley?
So why did you call him an ableist?
He's an ableist.
All right. So, Kim, it was just funny content for a moment. I know that it torqued you off. It hit some buttons, but I would never park in the handicap spot. I just used the motorized scooter, which was abandoned and strewn in the parking lot. I think I was doing Aldi a favor by bringing it back to the front door.
The manager actually said thank you to
her. They gave me a quarter.
So, no, I'm kidding. So we're going to punish Kim even further.
No, we're not.
By allowing her to sit in the studio till the end of the show.
Okay. Kim, but listen, I reached out to you.
You did.
And I wanted to just let you know that in no way did I. And listen, you're close to the situation. You have your son, Riley. What does Riley have?
Riley was born at 25 weeks and developed perioventricular leukomalacia, which caused him to have cerebral palsy.
Gotcha. All right. And I wanted to invite you down, and Riley seems to be having a blast in here.
He's having a great time. He loves to laugh at his mom.
Yeah, well, we do too.
All right. Yeah. So, Kim, no hard feelings?
No.
All right.
Thank you, Kim.
All right. And
Thank you.
listen,
All right.
I want you guys to hang out, enjoy it. Give the mic to Riley. And,
Hey, Riley.
Hey, Riley, how old are you?
13.
Gotcha. And Riley, are you having a great time so far?
Mainly just laughing at my mom.
I love it. Anyway,
Hey, listen, laughing at your mom is our favorite part of today as well.
You guys are welcome to hang out, and if you want to see, the original video, it's on my Instagram. Just look for me sitting down in the mobility scooter in the middle of Aldi. My Instagram is Certified MJ Radio, and you can go look at all the comments. And you can see Kim, KYM, you can see her original comment, and this generated a whole lot of commentary on my Instagram. But listen, it's a pleasure to have you guys in, and enjoy. Stay as long as you guys want. See, I'm a diplomat at heart. You know,
Are you?
Even when I don't think it's my fault, I like to sometimes smooth things over.
Yeah, you're like Khrushchev in that way.
I'm like, what?
Khrushchev. Diplomat. Leader.
Why would you bring up Nikita Khrushchev? He banged his shoe at the UN.
Are you above banging your shoe? Jumping around, making a lunatic of yourself?
Are you aware of Anne Hathaway's lip plumping hack? Now, Roxanne, you're typically up to speed on all of these, beauty tips or hacks. Now, I've never asked you this, and I don't want you to think this is all creepy or anything.
Oh,
but
not generally. That's the tone.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Are you happy with your lips?
I mean, I think they've done what they need to do over my life,
But
and I use this stuff called lip injection here.
But
I think they've done what they need to do.
But listen, what I'm getting at is
I'm able to chew. Yes.
You've never had the propensity, or you've never gone and had like those injections. You get the women who have the lips that are blown up like they've been stung by 150 bees. You know what I'm talking about?
Correct.
Some of the blown up lips are just ridiculous. They look out of control.
I do like to blow up my lips though with this
and
lip injection, and it does feel like bee stings when you put it on. It feels like your lips are being like it's stingy, right?
Is it an ointment?
No, it's just a lip
Sounds
gloss,
awful.
right?
Don't take this the wrong way. I can't tell any difference.
Maybe if I don't wear it, then maybe you would think I have small lips.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, are you aware of the Anne Hathaway? And I like Anne Hathaway.
No, okay, I want to hear this hack, but I have to tell you how strong this stuff is.
Yeah.
Occasionally, I'll put it on. I'll forget I have put it on, and then I'll kiss my kids, and then they'll get a welt on the side of their face.
They'll get third-degree burns. It's like they were hit in the face with acid.
Or if I put it on and then I go out on a windy day and a piece of hair crosses my lip and goes across my cheek, I have welts. Yes.
Hold on, your kids are getting welts?
And I'm getting them from my...
Someone's going to call DCF on you.
I know.
You're going to be investigated.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the deal. Does everyone like Anne Hathaway?
Yeah, what's not to like?
Yeah, she was in that, what was the Devil Wears Prada, right?
Yes.
She was the assistant, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've always found Anne Hathaway very, very attractive.
She comes off a little uppity.
No, I like Anne Hathaway. But she's got this social media hack, and she's on social media. It's on multiple platforms. And she says you take a pin and you poke your lips. You take a hat. This is her hack. If you want plumper lips.
And she does have plump lips.
She says that you take a hat pin or a hairpin. Is this the audio, Festi? You bring it up. All right, listen to this.
This is
here we go.
This is a little tip on lip talk.
Instead of TikTok, it's lip talk.
Oh, no, they're young. They understand.
Oh, jeez.
We're here shooting the new Shiseido campaign, which is very lovely. We've been asked back. Woohoo.
All right, so she's a rep for, is she like an ambassador for the Shiseido cosmetic line? Listen.
And I noticed, I thought my upper lip looked a little, I don't know, just a little wilted. So I asked a dear for a bobby pin.
I know I just said bobby pin. It's not a bobby pin, it's a hairpin, and that matters.
And I went in and I sort of stimulated my lip to try to get some blood flow back there, to get some circulation.
So she's poking her lip repeatedly with the hat pin or the hairpin.
She's not breaking skin.
Yeah, well, that's the point. The audio is very low. But the point is, she says you keep poking your lips with the hairpin, not a bobby pin. You want to use the hairpin, and you stimulate the lips by poking and poking to increase blood circulation. But, Fester, what you just said is very important. She says if you make yourself bleed, you've gone too far.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. So it's not like a vampire facial or something. So, Roxanne, if you don't mind, by any chance, do you have a hairpin with you?
Oh, usually I do, but after the recital, no. No, I don't have any with me. I'm sorry.
I wanted to.
Is that a needle? What's a hairpin?
So a
No, it's just
hairpin-
like a bobby pin.
Yeah, it's like a U shape. It has
Yeah.
two sharp
Man,
points.
I
on it.
wanted you to poke yourself for the rest of the show and see if we
I'll go out
noticed any.
Yeah.
Do you have one in the car?
No, I'm just saying I'll go poke myself in the, I'll find something to poke myself with in this building, I'm sure, right?
No,
Here's some scissors.
Wouldn't
Andrew, cut that.
wouldn't like another, why does it have to be a bobby pin? You can find something.
No, it's
in
not.
this-
It's not a bobby pin. She clarified. It's got to be a hairpin.
So the hairpin is 2 needles, so it's double the effectiveness.
Right. So if kind of like aerating soil.
Yes.
You know what? It's like you're aerating soil, but on your lips. Tell you what, let's just do the experiment. I'm being serious here. Let's put this to the test. Who are the 2 guys on TV that were always testing crap out?
Mythbusters.
Yeah, Mythbusters guys. Let's like Anne Hathaway Mythbust here. So Roxanne, could you bring in a hairpin tomorrow and just have you poke the lips, watch your video, and let's see if there's any plumping of your lips. Are you game?
Yeah. Are you guys familiar with the difference between a hairpin and a bobby pin?
Yeah, bobby pin has like that little plastic, like smooth, rounded edge, so it doesn't stick you.
The hairpins I'm looking at have a smooth, rounded edge. Like, in other words, why can't you do it with 2 bobby pins? Why couldn't you just do it with 2 bobby pins?
The point is to have the needle end on it. Like this particular hairpin or hat pin has 2 sharp needle-like edges on it.
Yeah, I don't think you want
the bobby pin has those softer plasticized.
You don't want those.
tips.
You don't want those little like nubs. You don't want those little plasticky nubs on the end.
No.
So let's try. If you're game, let's just try it and
Let's
see
do it.
if the Anne Hathaway hack works. Yes.
I'm putting it on my to-do list.
She's the wrong person. Her lips are already. They already have product on them.
What do you? No, we'll do it tomorrow before she puts her bee sting crap on.
She's been putting bee sting crap on her lips for the last 25 years.
Yeah, it just oozes out of
We
my
should
lips.
manufacture a box and then put bees in the box and just put your lips in the box.
Froggy.
And they could just sting the hell out of your lips.
You know what? Burt's Bees. Burt's Bees should be much more literal.
I don't know if you've ever noticed, MJ.
Yes.
Froggy has beautiful lips. We should have
We
Froggy.
can't see them because they're hidden behind the beard.
I don't want that on my lips.
We should have Froggy do it and see how pouty he gets.
I don't want to stab myself in the lip.
Now you hear about the Bradenton funeral home scam that's going around, and
No.
well, it's actually happening all across the country, but there's a funeral home down in Bradenton that's bringing it to light again. I've heard of this. You've got such scoundrels out there. I mean, you've got such bad people that just want to rip people off, scam them left and right. The latest now, and this is not a new scam. This has been circulating. I've seen stories and reports. It's happening around the country. The latest, though, is locally here in the Bradenton area, just south of where we are in Tampa Bay. And in Bradenton, the Bradenton police are trying to publicize the fact that you should not fall for the funeral home scam. Can you imagine? You've got a grieving family, you've lost a member, you've lost a loved one, and then you've got some rat-think son of a that wants to take advantage of you and rip you off and defraud you at a time of grief? What kind of sickos are we dealing with? So what is the funeral home scam? You got sickos that scour the obituaries. They look for upcoming funerals, and then they make a call pretending to be from the funeral home, and you have to make an emergency extra payment, and if you don't, the funeral's canceled.
Oh, wow.
That's creepy.
This is don't fall for this. So earlier this week, the Bradenton Police Department, they got multiple complaints from people that claimed that they were being called from Brown and Sons funeral homes down in Manatee County. claiming that they had to make an additional payment or else the funeral was going to be nixed, canceled. And it's not true. That is completely false. The phone calls are not coming from Brown and Sons. You know the Brown dude? You know he's the mayor of Bradenton? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. All right, so here's the story. On Monday, Bradenton police got multiple reports of people getting calls from somebody pretending to be an agent, employee of Brown and Sons Funeral Homes. And Bradenton police said that this has happened many times over the last 6 months. It was yesterday afternoon when all of a sudden the calls started coming in, said Meredith Consulo, or Sensulo. She's a spokeswoman with the Bradenton Police Department. She spoke with Channel 8 and said, we had at least 3 victims who had received calls from the funeral home with threats that they had to make an immediate payment or their loved one's funeral would be canceled.
That's no good.
Yeah, and they happened like very quickly, and they started getting calls. So luckily, the people that were called earlier in the week, they were suspicious, and they did not make the payment. But you have a lot of gullible people. You got a lot of folks, and you catch somebody in a state of weakness or somebody that just to be quite honest, just gullible, and people are falling for this nonstop. That is why we wanted to put out an alert, because it just seems that when these scams occur, you have these people who are committing this fraud or simply going through obituaries looking for someone who will take the bait, and then they attempt to take advantage of them in what is probably a really bad time in their life. You know what? I got to be honest. You know what the punishment ought to be here? If you catch these rat bastards that are doing this, you glue them to the road and then you run them over with the funeral hearse.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what you just run them right, or you mow them down you have a coffin in the back and you just put them right in.
Just roll them right in.
Very efficient.
Scrape them up, put them in.
If I were a local judge, that would be the sense.
So apparently the scammers are using the spoofing technology to change the caller ID to appear that the call's coming from, in this case, Brown and Sons, which it's not. But then that's how they get the call picked up and start the conversation.
And Gene Brown is the owner of Brown and Sons, so looks like he hasn't caved into Dignity just yet. I'm sure they're trying, right? Dignity is one of the companies that's buying up like every funeral home over the last 15 years all around the country.
Mr. Brown, we'd like to make you an offer.
Mr. Brown, we want to make you an offer. You can't refuse, Mr. Brown.
So he's the mayor and the funeral director of the town.
Gene Brown is the mayor of Bradenton and also owns Brown and Sons Funeral Home.
What if he didn't vote for him?
Yeah.
What if you didn't vote for him? What if you were on the other guy's side?
Well, you could still use the funeral home.
I have to say, wouldn't that be a little awkward, though?
Yeah.
Mildred campaigned against me. All right.
But how sick is that? Yeah, that's horrible. People are just down and out. You got a family member that's passed, and then you try to scam them. Anyway, folks, if you ever have any doubt, hang up the phone. Do not give them the time of day. If you have any doubt about something, and these days they can spoof the caller ID and make it seem like on your phone display that it's coming from the legitimate source. If you have any doubt about anything, hang the phone up and then call back, not on the number they called you from necessarily. Go get the real number. Go and they might have spoofed the real number, but call the real number, even if it might have been spoofed. Call the real number, and they'll quickly tell you most likely that, nope, that wasn't us. That was a scam. That's sick. And I like my punishment idea of running them over with a funeral hearse. I think that would make...
that's fair.
I think that would make, a very significant point is what I'm thinking. All right, I have this spare change story. Do you remember I just mentioned spare change?
Sure.
After we talked about the Aldi story and the need to have a quarter to unlock the chain gang, the shopping carts at Aldi, I've got a spare change story that will blow your socks off. Yeah, I wanted to get to this yesterday. I just didn't have a chance. Do you know that a Pennsylvania waste management company, since they started collecting the spare change in waste, since 2017, do you know how much money they've racked up in spare change? Who would like to start it off?
$500, Pat.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
It's Drew, okay?
I'll always be with Pat.
Yeah, Pat just retired from Wheel of Fortune.
It's obviously more than $500.
All right, Fessa, what do you think? How much since 2017? This company, they noticed the inordinate amount of spare change that they were collecting in their waste procedures. How much you think this company has collected in spare change since 2017?
I will go much higher than $500 and say $2,000.
Oh, no. Roxanne, who always shoots high and ends the game prematurely.
Yeah.
Roxanne, what is your guess?
3,000.
Oh, no.
Are we way off or just kind of close?
You guys are so freaking off.
Is it like $20,000?
It is like the Mars rover is closer. What is that? What is that spacecraft that died and then has come back to life and is transmitting pictures back from the edge of the galaxy again?
Yeah, it's way out there.
Which one is that one? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's closer than where you guys are.
I mean, is it $25,000 or $30,000? Is it that high?
Dude, it's $10 million.
Shut up.
I swear.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
Stop.
Dude,
pocket change?
Yeah, it's $10 million freaking dollars.
I would never have guessed that.
I know. That's why I'm doing the story. This is insane.
And that's just one little area of Pennsylvania?
This is not. Listen to the story. A Pennsylvania waste management facility has collected $10 million in lost change since they started the program to collect this change, have it taken away, and then deposited. What we have is a series of assorted materials. Rebecca Guardino, director of ash processing at ReWorld, told Fox Business's Jeff Flock as they went through a bin inside the facility in Pennsylvania earlier this week. This is about the quarter-sized particles where we usually get a little bit of hardware, but mostly quarters. Flock, I know the name, Jeff Flock, he's a business reporter for Fox Business. He went to Morrisville, Pennsylvania to see what the heck was going on in this facility. They walked around. They watched machines sift through incinerated trash, forcing coins to fall through round holes before they're sorted into bins. So this is a trash-burning facility. And, of course, you burn the trash, the combustible stuff is going to be reduced to ash, but you've got coins.
Yeah, you can't burn coins.
That are, for the most part, the temperature of the flame does not get high enough to melt the coins or the alloys, right? So the coins, once they're sorted after they come out of the ash, they go through a washing station, and then most of them come out shining like brand new, and then they're put on a rack to dry. This allows us to better sort the coins to determine what coins are in good condition or have been damaged, but lets us know what denominations we're dealing with. Look, this is insane. They started doing this in 2017. Wall Street Journal said the company began collecting the coins in 2017 after noticing a considerable amount of coins in the trash.
Wow.
That's goes away change.
$10 million in coins.
Wow.
Recovered. $6 million were in good enough shape to turn over to a third party to be counted and then deposited into local banks. They're calling it coin harvesting.
I mean, why isn't every waste management company doing something like this?
You ought to see the bins. They have specialized equipment now. There is so much money in the coins. It was worth the investment to come up with sifters and shakers and washers and bins. And it's absolutely, can you think, 6 million of usable coins since 2017.
The machine is spitting out coins like a slot machine.
It is.
Yeah.
Here, listen to this.
Better watch
cashing station. This allows us to better sort the coins to determine what coins are in good condition or have been damaged, but also lets us know what denominations we're dealing with.
So you get millions of dollars of coins out of this recycling process every year.
We absolutely do, but here at ReWorld, that's not all we do. The coins is kind of a small piece of our story. but
Yeah, 10 million in coins, just a small piece of the story.
Yeah, who cares about the rest of the operation? Tell me more about the coins.
Would you ever in a million years think that you're dealing with this kind of amount of coins?
Have you ever thrown change away?
Not knowingly, not intentionally.
Like you have a couple of loose pennies in your pocket? Like,
no,
okay.
I pick up a loose penny on the ground. Only, I'm not a superstitious person, but I don't know why I only pick up heads up. You know, with the old see a penny, pick it up, and all day you'll have good luck.
I think you're a closet superstition person.
I am not a closet superstition person. That's just some dopey thing I subscribe to.
How's your mother's back?
And and when you see step on the crack, break your mother's back.
I've seen you in your weighted vest skipping over the cracks before. Don't lie.
Oh, I have no problem stepping on the cracks. I am not a superstitious individual. Speaking of money, you want to hear another thing? It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Look, I might be totally out of flipping touch on this, but
we'll let you know.
You got the story in the case of 2 Kurt Cobain guitars. And you've got one Kurt Cobain guitar collector that is disparaging another Kurt Cobain guitar collector. Of course, Kurt Cobain, the front man for Nirvana, that unfortunately was on the wrong end of a shotgun, self-inflicted. What was that, back in 93?
Allegedly self-inflicted.
94. April 94, Kurt Cobain. What do you say?
Wait, you think Gardner did it?
What are you saying, Froggy?
There's documentaries out there that
great.
Courtney Love might have done it.
Yeah, of course, Kurt Cobain was a member of the 27 Club, like Amy Winehouse, and who are all the members of the...
Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, right? Yeah, bring up all the members of the 27 Club, and these are all famous individuals that checked out at the age of 27.
Gallagher.
What?
Oh, wait, he's still alive.
Hang on a minute.
Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin.
Hold on, you talking about the watermelon smashing Gallagher?
Is he dead?
Dude, he was like 75 years old. He wasn't. But if you look at the names in...
You can't go all the way to the top.
Hang on.
Just starts like in the 1800s.
Yeah, but leave it alone here. Leave it alone. All right. But if you look at like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison.
Oh, that's the one.
I mean, these are huge names, and they all checked out at the age of 27. Yeah, wasn't Amy Winehouse 27 as well?
She was, but she's a little...
Yeah. I mean, there are so many.
There's Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain, he died April 5th, 1994. Where's Amy Winehouse?
She was more recent. She died in 2012.
There's Amy Winehouse, 2011. Yeah, so the 27 Club. Anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked here. So there's this fight over the value of these guitars, and I just think this is absolutely insane. I like Nirvana. I like Kurt Cobain. I like the band. Of course, one of the most recognizable album covers of all time. The little naked baby floating with the little the fish hook. Nevermind, exactly. So you've got one Nirvana Kurt Cobain guitar collector that's like disparaging another one. These numbers are just, I'm sorry, are idiotic. A guy that bought Kurt Cobain's Mustang Fender electric guitar for $4.5 million says that it makes no sense that another guy paid $6 million for the Martin D18E acoustic that sold for $6 million back in 2020.
If that's the one he used in the Unplugged album, that's a famous acoustic.
But that's brought up in this. So the Martin D18E was used in the MTV Unplugged.
That makes sense.
But that was only like a one-shot deal.
That's why it's such a big deal.
But whereas the Fender Mustang, that was constantly used on tour and virtually everywhere. But the point is, I'm just blown away. Who the hell would pay $4.5 million or $6 million for a guitar? That is outrageous.
A collector. A rich-ass collector.
Yeah, thank you. I get that. But that is just, these are asinine numbers. I mean, I don't care if you've got money to flush down the toilet or 10 million in coins to flush down the toilet or throw away or whatever. I mean, the fact that somebody would pay $4.5 million or $6 million for a guitar, I mean, it doesn't even compute. It just seems like a stupid, ridiculous waste of money. And how could it possibly be worth that much money?
Oof. You're so offensive to Kurt. Of course it's worth it. The man changed music.
Did he really?
Anyway, Fester, I've got
Conway Twitty changed music.
Oh,
I got an item close and dear to your heart.
Food related?
Yeah, it's food related.
Okay.
Yep, it's close to Fester's heart, and it's also one of the retail establishments that you highly enjoy.
The retail establishment?
The retail
Not
establishment.
one of.
No. When it comes to Fester, this is the retail establishment, and of course, I'm talking about
the Dollar Tree.
That is correct.
It's my favorite store.
100% right. Yep.
I love the Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree is being slammed.
Why? Offering good products?
Nope.
Well, hold on.
Riley loves the Dollar Tree.
What was that, Riley?
It's no longer the Dollar Tree. It's the $3 tree.
Right?
No, you're right.
Yeah, they have like a plus section now.
Yeah. Or the $1.25 or the $1.50 tree or
Dollar
whatever.
items are now $1.25, and then there's things that are rounded to the
Anyway, listen to the egregious behavior at your beloved Dollar Tree, Fester.
What are they trying to pin on the innocent folks who run this wonderful establishment?
Dollar Tree has been accused by the Federal Drug Administration of leaving the lead-tainted applesauce pouches on the shelves for weeks, despite the recall of these lead-tainted applesauce packets. Oh, the horror!
Come on.
Yep.
Give Dollar Tree a break.
Give them a break?
A little lead never killed anyone.
Yes, it did.
Really? Just a little lead?
Yeah, it causes all kinds of problems. Anyway, the FDA sent a letter to Dollar Tree and placed the distributors of the applesauce pouches. It was Negasmart, Ecuadorian distributor of the Wanabana apple cinnamon pouches under import alerts. This first went out in October of last year because these applesauce packets were contaminated with, quote, extremely high levels of lead and chromium.
I mean, isn't chromium an essential mineral?
Chromium is mentioned in Billy Joel's Allentown.
Yeah.
Chromium steel, right? Children in 44 states had probable or confirmed cases of elevated lead levels in their blood after eating the applesauce from these companies. And the complaint is that Dollar Tree kept these recalled tainted products on the shelf well past the time that they should have been removed. How does that not happen? How does Dollar Tree corporate not send an urgent message to every single store, get these lead-tainted applesauce packets off the freaking shelf and do it now?
I mean, Did every pouch have lead in it?
That doesn't make any sense. Hey, tell me if you agree with this. I got to be honest. And you guys can call me names. You can call me out of touch. You can call me crazy.
All right, get ready, Froggy.
But these are the top 5 sitcoms of all time.
Okay, so do we agree with these?
This is going to be bad.
That's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll tell you right now it's going to suck.
This is a Study Finds compilation.
All right, I'll tell you right now, they had the jam I Love Lucy on there somewhere, and that is so false.
All right, listen to this. Top 5 sitcoms of all time. And what they did was they sifted through all kinds of what they claimed were credible review sites, and they did an aggregation. And they came up with the top 5 best sitcoms of all time. I'm going to start at number 5. Number 5 is Parks and Recreation.
Oh, I love that show.
See?
That is one of my favorites.
Ding, ding, right there.
My wife forced me to watch it, and I actually think it's hilarious.
It's amazing. And you know what? Anytime I'm going through like tragedy in my life, I watch that nightly.
Wait a minute. How much tragedy do you go through
My
in your
God.
life?
2 times that I've had some tragic things
What,
happen.
did Doug lose a leg in a wood chipper? What,
No.
Yes.
let me put on Parks and Recreation.
Doug has a fake leg on the left side. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
It's a funny show.
I've heard Parks and Recreation is funny, but for whatever reason, I've had very little exposure to Parks and Recreation.
That's one with the 2 radio guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Other than Froggy bringing in the clip of the radio guys, I've never seen 10 seconds of Parks.
You got to watch
Parks
it. You want to be friends with all of them. Like,
You know
you
what?
want to work with them.
And that's Amy Poehler, right?
Yes, Amy Poehler. Rob Lowe, he's hilarious in
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I recognize
Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I recognize the actors' faces, but I'm kind of in the same boat as Fester. I don't think I've ever seen an entire episode of Parks and Recreation. I've walked in and like Julian and Chloe are watching an episode, and I'll catch a couple of things here or there, and I think I've laughed. But for whatever reason, I've had very little exposure to Parks and Recreation.
7 seasons.
That comes in at number 5 as the 5th best sitcom of all time.
Lil Sebastian. Froggy, have you met Lil Sebastian yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I won't ruin it.
Number 4 is Friends.
Damn it.
That's obvious.
Yeah, it's got to be on the list.
It
So
is.
popular.
I get why it's on the list, but you know what?
It's pretty funny.
I never really cared for Friends.
That's because Seinfeld was on before it.
Yeah, you know,
Watch real comedy.
I caught Friends. Friends was on, then Seinfeld was after Friends.
Well, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny is when I was living in California, I didn't have any friends out there, and I just watched Friends every day, and I felt like I had friends.
Oh, and Monica and Phoebe, they were like your girlfriends.
Yes, totally.
Oh,
You know what?
And would you like pour yourself a cup of coffee and pretend you were sitting with them
I did.
at Central Perk?
I totally did.
Oh, yeah.
During COVID, I got into a little Friends rut where I might have watched, like 4 or 5 episodes in a row, and it was a good show.
Can I point out that if I never see a Friends episode again, I'm fine with that. Really.
Facts.
So I don't disagree with, or I'm sorry, I don't agree with number 4 on the list.
As far as standing the test of time of comedy, it doesn't have a ton of laughs. It's more just a vibe.
All right, now this might be controversial. Number 3,
Dinosaurs.
No.
Remember that one?
No.
With the family.
Full House.
Number 3 on the list of top 5 sitcoms of all time, Cheers. I hated Cheers. I don't know what.
I like Cheers.
I hated
But it wasn't like
Cheers. Oh.
gut wrench funny.
No.
I never liked Cheers. I was like, oh God, why can't there be something else on?
Yeah.
I never liked Cheers. I'm
I'll
sorry.
take it or leave it.
So that's number.
You didn't like Fraser Crane?
That's number 3 on the list. Now, the top 2, I totally agree with. Coming in at number 2.
Well, this is
two. It's The Office.
Okay, so these are all relatively
Oh, yeah.
like from the 80s and on,
You're not getting any of the classic stuff like
All in the Family.
Sanford and Son. All in the Family is just if you turn on some of the retro networks that run All in the Family, man, that's
Shut up, meathead.
Have you ever seen the Sammy Davis Jr. episode? Holy crap!
There's a few episodes that
my
make you feel
God.
awkward.
Yeah. Oh
No,
yeah.
not
Listen.
me. I love them.
But All in the Family was absolutely genius.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are all newer type. Well, listen, Cheers goes back to the 80s, obviously.
How did Cheers get in the mix of this?
I don't know. But
Yeah, okay, let's bump Cheers out of the list and let's insert our own show. And I would insert Arrested Development.
Never saw that.
No,
It's really good.
I have to. That's on my list to watch from
Amazing
the beginning.
cast.
Yeah, I know. So The Office comes in at number 2. Of course, that's the U.S. version, adopted from the UK version. And then I think we can all guess what the number 1 greatest sitcom of all time is. And
Cavemen.
I agree.
Family Matters.
I totally agree.
Remember Cavemen?
Nope.
But you said dinosaurs already.
Number 1, What's Happening?
Oh,
No,
rerun.
Rerun.
I'm kidding.
Raj.
I'm kidding. Was it?
Dwayne Wayne.
Yeah.
Hey.
Rerun.
No, I'm kidding.
Shirley.
Shirley,
The waitress.
Number
And then
1.
Shirley had her own show.
All right,
Yeah.
Can I reveal number 1?
And then what's happening now, of
All right.
course.
Number 1 is Seinfeld, and I fully agree with that. So the top 2, The Office and Seinfeld, I agree. But that's more the modern stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There are classics like I Love Lucy, classics like All in the Family.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, though. You say it's the modern stuff, but what's the age on the youngest of those shows? We're going a decade back, right?
Can you name now that Young Sheldon is wrapped up.
I love that show.
Yeah, Young Sheldon. It's not a bad show.
That show's great.
I've
never
caught like
saw that.
4 episodes, but now
Big
that
Bang
Young,
Theory is good too.
Now that Young Sheldon, Big Bang Theory, How I Met Your Mother, now that they have ended, can you name any sitcom on any channel?
I cannot.
Me neither.
I can't name one sitcom on any. I watch no network TV. ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. I watch nothing in prime time. Nothing. Zero.
I watch midget shows on TLC.
Ghosts.
Yeah.
7 Little Johnstons.
8:52 at the MJ Morning Show. This brings to a conclusion over an hour and 20 minutes of non-stop MJ. When we get back, I have a story about a woman that is now claiming that this year she wants to double the amount of men she sleeps with.
That's right. Life goal.
Last year she slept with 300 men. This year she wants to sleep with 600. This is going to conjure up something very disgusting. Which, I'll give you the whole backstory on this individual. And she's a knockout. She's
a sex worker?
She's hang on, don't jump the conclusion.
She's an accountant. She has a lot of free time.
This is an absolute knockout. And, well, I'll get to the story next. No. That was not Justin Timberlake's band. That was Backstreet Boys. Now, they've had their share of problems with some of the members in the group. You know, Nick Carter, for instance. Does he still live locally, or is Nick Carter out of here?
I don't know. I have no idea. I know his brother, Aaron Carter.
Yeah.
He was found in a tub like a year
Oh,
and a half
yeah.
ago.
I mean, and then the sister, didn't she
was a
crash a BMW 7 Series into a utility pole down in the Keys or something? Yeah, they've had their issues. If you missed our show earlier today, we did like a 15-minute chunk on all the latest on Justin Timberlake and the driving while intoxicated arrest up in New York out on Eastern Long Island in Sag Harbor. And I just saw a story, Jessica Biel spotted for the first time since Justin Timberlake, her husband's arrest. So what are the paparazzi? Have they been given the assignment? Hey,
yes,
get a picture of Jessica Biel. Let's see if she has my husband was just busted for drunk driving on Long Island face on. You gotta snap that picture. Gotta get that one.
I mean, I can't imagine she's bouncing around super happy yesterday and today.
Yeah, here's the story from the New York Post a little while ago. Let me see when this published. Let me see when they actually put this up on their site.
Was it last night they saw her or this morning?
Hang on a minute. This was updated this morning at 7:56 a.m. Oh, so it was published. It was published after midnight. So this is a 19th, a June 19th story. A stone-faced Jessica Biel was spotted returning to work in the Big Apple Tuesday just hours after her husband, Justin Timberlake, was busted, allegedly drunk driving in the Hamptons.
Is that her stone face or her surprise face? Like she's so surprised that happened.
The 42-year-old actress was snapped in between takes as she was filming her upcoming Prime Video thriller series, The Better Sister, in Manhattan. She was wearing a striped. Do you know people that say striped? You ever notice? Seriously,
Yeah, I have.
There are some people that instead of saying striped,
It's striped.
it's
Yeah, it's
striped.
just striped.
But some people will say striped. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not striped. It's striped. So she's wearing a striped bodycon maxi dress. What the hell is that?
A tight dress that goes all the way to the floor, right?
It's just,
Body contour.
It just means it's a tight, skin tight dress.
She looks great. She's attractive.
She really is.
Yeah. So Jessica Biel, and the first images of her post Justin Timberlake DUI bust.
So this is the maxi dress she was in, MJ.
That's pretty.
What post, whatever the hell it's called.
It's hard to wear horizontal stripes.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out. Let me just mention something quickly. And I brought this up a couple of days ago. I'm trying to figure out if this is the real deal or if this is an artificial hype machine for a bomb of a movie. I'm seeing more and more of like pre-planted hype for this upcoming Nicolas Cage movie, Long Legs. And I'm trying to figure out, is this the real deal or are we getting sold bill of goods?
Where are you seeing it?
Everywhere. I'm on the internet all day long. This is a 4-hour show, and I'm prepping at least 8 hours a day for this show. And wherever I go, the entertainment stuff, I hit over 100 different sites, during the course of a week. And I'm just seeing a lot on this movie. There's a lot of hype. Do me a favor, let me grab the computer.
All right.
All right, so you have Long Legs in here. Let me just go to news. And you'll see like the headlines. Long Legs, Uncaged, dial this number for the creepiest call of your life. Long Legs review, Nicolas Cage stars in the best horror movie of the year. My most anticipated horror movie of the year just got a whole lot creepier. Long Legs horror movie.
Hold on. Go back to the first thing you read.
Which one?
I think there's a billboard, maybe out in California, where they put a phone number up.
Hang on, let me click on this. This is from some website called Bloody Disgusting.
The billboard, it has the date, and then is that Nicolas Cage peeking into the billboard?
No, it looks like it's a woman. Looks like,
or it could be Nicolas Cage. I don't know.
All right, let me cancel this. Let me close this ad. Let Let me try to dial up the phone number on the billboard. And why is this thing?
All these ads are popping.
Yeah, all these damn ads. Exactly. Hang on. Let me dial this up. 1-458-666. Yeah, there's a billboard out in Hollywood with a phone number on it.
There she is. What's your name? Little angel? Nice to meet you.
It's making Roxanne's skin crawl.
Look at my arm, Buster. It's like goosebumps on it. That's disgusting.
What's happening?
This is weird.
Waiting.
Okay,
That's it. It just cuts off.
Creepy AF.
Yeah, so that's.
Was he on the bed? Was he going to the toilet?
I don't know what.
I want to make that my new answering machine message.
It's a billboard for the movie. It has a picture of a woman and just like the side of her face from the top left of the billboard. Then the phone number 458-666-4355 is in the middle of the billboard, the phone number, and then in the lower right-hand corner it says 712. And that's when the movie is supposed to come out here in the United States on July 12th, next month. But again, there's a serious hype machine on this movie, and they're calling it the scariest film of the decade. And who else is in it? Scroll down. It's Nicolas Cage.
And Micah Monroe?
I have no idea who that is.
How can it be scary if Nicolas Cage is in it?
Oh, he could be creepy.
It's not
man.
like those scary Japanese movies where you don't know the actors.
Or the South Korean movies.
Yeah.
What was that movie? That South Korean
Like
movie.
The Ring?
Great. No. Well, no. The
Grudge?
No.
I don't watch horror movies.
I know, you don't like
There are
them.
two genres of movies I don't watch. One I can say out loud, and it's horror movies.
That's a creepy little promo voicemail, isn't it? That's creepy. All right, moving along to the woman that says that sleeping with 300 guys last year was just not enough. Couldn't quite get her fill.
Well, I mean, let's just do the math right off the bat. She's doing it almost every day.
Well, she initially wanted to go to 365 so she would have one every day, but that was not enough. So this woman, her name is Knight, Annie Knight, and I believe that's a stage name. She is an OnlyFans performer, and in 2023, she bedded 300 people. She goes both ways, so some were men, some were women, but she initially had a goal to make it 365, but also, I know we say there are 365 days in a year, but isn't the real number like 365 and a quarter?
Mm-hmm. With leap year, leap day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so
She worked in a dwarf.
or just a limb.
Maybe somebody,
But now, Annie Knight, her goal is to sleep with 600 lovers this year. So that means at least 2 in a day?
Good for
Oh,
her.
my God. That is, what do you mean good for her? This
Everybody
is
needs-
nasty.
You need
this
goals.
This is gross.
The first step on achieving your
my
goals
goodness.
is to say it out loud and to write it down. That's right.
It.
I want to see her vision board.
Good for her.
By the way, she's very attractive. She's got a killer body.
Where does she find these chaps?
I don't know. Well, it's
Online?
It's OnlyFans.
She
And
just sleeps with anybody then.
not everyone is supportive of her nymphomaniacal behavior.
What?
I've had very mixed emotions, she says. Some people have been super supportive. Oh, yes, I support you 100% sleeping with 600 people in a year. Oh, I think it's just it's beautiful. It's a wonderful goal to have. You know what? It's just phenomenal that you kind of find a point on the horizon and you just go for it.
Good for her.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, she says that, some are not very supportive.
No.
She has a majority of people judging me. Oh, you think? She says that some people think that she must be riddled with STDs.
No.
She has an OnlyFans account, and she says she's regularly tested for any nasty infections.
Sure.
She says, I'm very safe because obviously with my work, I have to be. You can only film with creators when you're clean. We do full STI checks every 2 weeks and practice using protection. Anyway, I'm sorry, that's 600 partners in a year?
And not only does it sound gross, but it sounds exhausting.
I mean, is that thing going to fall out?
I mean, if you do cardio every day, I mean, it's not exhausting.
I mean, I'm just thinking of a stretched out, worn out glove or something, I'm sorry.
Oh,
it's like a sock that has no elasticity.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. I'm grossed out by
like
this.
sleeve of wizard.
I mean, does this float some guys' boats? I'm repulsed by this.
Yes, me too.
Sorry, I'm repulsed.
What was her
Well,
OnlyFans?
she can't have goals.
Yeah.
Dreams.
Yeah. All right. This is terrible. Did you know about Howie Mandel's wife?
No.
Does she have the same goal as the?
No. This is a total. Howie Mandel's wife was found in a pool of blood after a drinking binge in Las Vegas.
She dead?
No, she's.
When you say pool of blood, you assume they're dead.
I guess yesterday, maybe it was Monday, Howie Mandel was on Live with Kelly and Mark. That's a show that I have absolutely no desire to watch. And the judge, what show is he on? He's on America's Got Talent.
Yes.
So the America's Got Talent judge, Howie Mandel, who I met years ago, is a very nice guy. Didn't shake my hand though. No, because he's a
germaphobe.
He's a famous germaphobe. But no,
Yes,
I
yeah.
met him. There was a studio out in Santa Monica, and somebody that I was working with when I was working in Los Angeles back in the early '90s. I was in a studio in Santa Monica, and Howie Mandel was in there, and so was John Tesh. I was like, whoa. And both were extremely nice. But Howie Mandel was on with Live with Kelly and Mark and talked about they recently took a trip to Las Vegas. And Howie Mandel says, we partied. It was too much. I did not know that in the middle of the night she got up. I don't know where she was headed, but she ran into the wall.
Whoa.
Yeah, here's the audio of Howie Mandel, who's a germaphobe, but apparently has no problem getting totally blast-ass drunk with his wife in Vegas. All right, go ahead. Roll the audio.
It was too much.
Yes.
Like it was too much, and she was tipsy.
Okay.
I did not know that, and in the middle of the night, she got up, and I don't know where she was headed, but she headed into the wall, and she fell and hit the wainscoting. I know that because I watch HGTV. There was no
Dreaded wainscoting.
There was
will
no
be
shiplap. It was wainscoting. She hit that as she went down. She slipped, went down, hit that on her eye, then fell on the floor and broke her cheek.
Oh my
you know
gosh!
That? No, I'm being serious.
Because you didn't know that.
I did not know. I heard
we didn't know
bang and and I woke up and I went, "Where are you?" And she went, "I don't know." That's what.
Why did you hit me, Howie? Why did this is insane. And for those that don't know, wainscoting, that's where you have like the paneled walls and you have almost like the framework. It's usually like in hoity-toity. It's in the billiards room or it's in the mapping room. Have you seen Edgar? Oh, he's in the mapping room. You know, what am I playing now?
Well, right when she's saying this, she goes, "Howie, get the doctor, get the doctor." I go, "Doctor." I'm so nervous. Doctor, my wife needs you. And she goes, "I can't," and I'm freaked out.
Did any of your St. Elsewhere training help you at all in this?
You realize that's pretend. I don't.
Not
really
for me
a doctor.
it was, right? I believed you were a doctor when I watched.
Wait a minute. Howie Mandel was insane elsewhere?
He was. Yeah.
You know,
That's right. He was.
That Mark Consuelo was something else, huh?
That's another show I never watched. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Saint Elsewhere.
So a lot of people came out initially.
Was that with Ed Begley Jr. too?
Yes,
Man,
yes.
he turned into a kook, didn't he?
Yes.
He's like a total kook face now.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
A lot of people said, if you wake up, you hit a wall, you hit your head, you must be drunk.
Well, they're admitting they were drunk. They were
wife
drinking all night in Vegas.
No, he said partying.
She said we had too much.
They were tipsy. You said they were tipsy.
Bester just found something on
Listen,
TMZ he wants to share with
he
you.
He said they were partying. She was tipsy. He never said alcohol. My wife was not drunk in Vegas. She was high on edibles.
Oh.
That'll do it.
So she was stoned out of her mind.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't matter what you're on when you run into a wall.
I mean, if you're partying, it doesn't always have to be booze.
Howie Mandel is so annoying now.
Again, I would just suggest you control your alcohol intake. You control your marijuana and edible intake because you never know if you're going to run into a wall. Just send stupid texts to people late at night. I mean, you never know what happens when you're ripped and stoned out of your mind. So you want to be just very careful and just watch your imbibing. A tip from the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. It is 9:21. When we return, final segment of the MJ Morning Show here. Buckingham, part of the rejoiner rotation, and I selected this one because Michelle and I were watching The Bear last night, the Hulu series, catching up on season 2. We had seen season 1, we loved it, and just, we didn't watch season 2, so we're watching season 2 now because I believe season 3 of The Bear is coming out at some point soon. Look for release date. The Bear.
The Bear.
It's really enjoyable. I really like it. And then in one of the episodes, like episode, I don't know, 3 or 4, they used A Holiday Road by Lindsey Buckingham.
June 27th.
Yeah. So we're trying to, I knew it was coming up quickly. So in just a little over a week, The Bear season 3 is coming out. So Michelle and I are about halfway through. Some of those episodes are fast. Some are like 28 minutes. It's like, boom. It's like you turn it on. It's up there are the credits. So we've been enjoying The Bear. And then season 3 drops. And in one of the ones we watched last night, they had a bunch of scenes, a montage with Holiday Road playing while the pastry chef rolled over to, I think, like Copenhagen or something. All right, MJ Morning Show here on Q105. We appreciate you spreading the word and letting everyone know that we're back. It's still remarkable, the number of people that don't know that the world-famous, legendary MJ Morning Show is back here on 104.7 FM, Q105, and we appreciate you letting folks know. Investment strategies. I better give this over to the Hollands over at the Holland Group Retirement Wealth Advisors. Maybe add this to the portfolio. So when I said this guy claims that these plastic blocks, and when you step on them in the middle of the night with bare feet, it feels like you've been shot in the foot with a nail gun. Now, seriously. And Fester, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
What do you think I'm talking about?
I think you're talking about Legos?
Yeah, Lego my Lego. Yeah, so this guy claims that he's made more money than he would have made with stocks and bonds and gold over the last number of years.
Was he just buying Lego sets and reselling them?
Yeah.
Or making his own Legos?
Stockpiling Lego sets that are popular and then waiting for them to go out of production. And you're not going to believe the return. You're not going to believe the skyrocketing prices on some of these Lego sets. This dude, Shane O'Farrell, is a 35-year-old guy from New Jersey, and he's made $500,000 in 2 years on Lego sets.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Truly amazing.
How does he get the old sets anyway? I mean, are they expire that quickly?
Yeah. So he saw one of his favorite Lego sets 20 years after he played with it as a kid that originally had a retail price of $85, and the same set now sells for $2,405. It was a 1996 Lego set. Again, original retail price, $85. And then he saw it was going for $2,400 online. And then suddenly in his head, little light bulb goes, bing! And he's like, oh my God, man, I got to check into this. So right now he says that Lego's resale value has been growing by 11% annually, which outpaces bonds and gold and stocks in many, many years.
That's more than my 401k did last year.
Yeah. Same here. He says, I started to invest in stocks, realized that the 8% a year that I was making in the stock market wasn't going to work. In the past 2 years alone, his Lego trading has brought him $500,000. And he says it takes minimal time. He's got a full-time job. The Lego thing's a side hustle, bringing in $500,000 over 24 months.
Was he selling them on eBay and just shipping them out at night?
It's got a whole different variety. So, online, here's an example. Lego Star Wars TIE Fighter pilot helmet model was $60. They retired that particular set in 2021. And then by about a year and a half after being retired, it's up to $350. So $60 to $350. So identify stuff that is popular, might be going out of production. You buy a bunch of them, and sit on them for a couple of years. $60 now, $350. Do the math on this.
And then the problem is a lot of them that are played with are opened. He's taking them and saving them. You're getting them in mint condition.
Yep. Yeah, this is really incredible. I remember when I was a kid, though, even when you think about inflation, when I go back and I think about some of the toys, there were a couple of toys that, my parents kind of balked at, or, it was more of a treat toy and not like a very common toy. And there are two that come to mind. Legos, even when I was a kid, when I go back to being 8, 9, 10 years old, Legos were freaking expensive back in the 1970s. It's it's all relative.
They just seem disproportionately high to other toys.
Exactly. And the other toy that I only had like one of, and I always used to drool at the case in the toy store. What are you laughing at?
And just picturing you as like a little kid, like all drooly and like kind of like vibes of Violet Beauregard. I want that toy, Daddy. Is it Violet or no? Veruca. Veruca.
Veruca Salt.
Yes.
Yeah, Veruca Salt is the Daddy. Daddy, I want a golden goose, Daddy.
Yes, Daddy.
Right, so let me give you a couple of hints. Let me see if you guys can guess. So Legos are a toy that my parents always thought were very expensive, and we had them sparingly. It wasn't like a nonstop Lego fest, but toy cars. I wonder if I'm the only one that knows this, remembers this.
Like model cars?
Not little toy metal cars. There was
Matchbox?
Yeah. Okay. So Andrew, you on the air or off the air?
On the air.
Okay. I can't tell.
Hot Wheels and Matchbox.
Yeah. So those were the ones that I used to get because those were very accessible. I remember when I grew up in Nanuet, New York, and we moved there when I was 3 from Queens, from Bay Terrace. And there was an old school pharmacy right on Middletown Road, right next to Jolene Cleaners. And there was a pharmacy up there, and it was old school with the pharmacy desk, and he had the wooden drawers and all the cabinets behind. And the pharmacist sold matchboxes. So he had a pharmacy, all the typical over-the-counter drugs, the prescriptions behind the counter, and right behind the counter he had these old wooden pharmacy drawers, and they were loaded with toy matchboxes in the little cardboard boxes, and they were like $1 a piece. They were cheap. Those were attainable. And I used to always love going to the pharmacy with Mom because she'd let me go behind the pharmacist. I get to open the drawer and pick out the matchbox that I wanted. Man, we still have, my brother and I still have a box of them. Yeah, they're all scratched up, and we beat the crap out of those cars. But we still have a bunch of our old matchboxes. But there was another car brand that was so freaking expensive, I could like never get my parents to get me one. And they were typically in the toy stores, they had this glass display cabinet with multiple glass shelves.
Really?
Yes.
What were they?
Corgi. Does anyone? They were Corgi cars. And they were like 10 to 15 bucks. They were Corgi cars. I always wanted the Corgi cars. I had Hot Wheels, I had the Matchboxes, but I only had like one Corgi. I think it was an ambulance.
Dude, there's one on here for $78.
Yeah, and the Corgis, even back in the 70s when I was a little, they were freaking expensive as hell. Look, oh my God, look at the Corgis now. They're like $50.
Oh, wow, these are really cool.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
So they still make Corgis. And I remember I would drool over the cabinet of Corgis.
Some of the cars have little plastic drivers in them.
All kinds of stuff, man. They were like the upper echelon of toy cars when I was growing up. Anyway, so the Lego dude, he found a niche here, man. $500,000 made in 2 years over buying and selling Lego sets?
I don't know, man. Lego just fires up production again. Boom, the market falls out.
Tell you what, if you don't know what you're doing and you buy a whole bunch of sets that are duds,
yeah,
you can find yourself maybe even less than a break even. Maybe you're going to lose money on some of these sets. This guy seems to know what he's doing. I saw a woman who claims she accidentally consumed 1,000 calories.
Dude, I accidentally consume 1,000 calories like twice a week.
Yeah, that's called a Tuesday.
What did she eat? Like a couple tablespoons of butter? Or
No.
what?
Not food. What could this lady have consumed where she did the math and claims that she consumed 1,000 calories and it's not food?
What? This is a riddle that I can't solve.
Yeah.
What could this be?
Did she inject apple juice straight into her veins or something?
No, that's food.
That's true.
Yeah. She claims that she licked 1,000 envelopes and that licking the glue was the equivalent of 1,000 calories.
All right. So if
Calorie and envelope. Okay.
Yeah. She's a wedding planner. And first of all, listen, I'm sure there are self-adhesive envelopes, which I know I buy when I don't use many envelopes these days because 99% of what I do is online bill pay through my bank account, and so I don't buy many envelopes. But we have a box of envelopes that we probably bought 4 years ago. There's still 80% of them in there, but we bought the little self-adhesive. You pull the strip and you seal it. Or let's say, I just thought of George Costanza's fiance.
Yeah, Susan immediately.
Yes, who died licking the envelopes because the glue was tainted. But here's the deal. Why would you, if you're a wedding planner and you licked 1,000 envelopes, why the hell are you licking these? Why wouldn't you have a little wet sponge?
How busted up does that tongue look?
They're sponge-worthy. Just use a sponge. Why are you licking 1,000 envelopes, you imbecile? Yeah, so she claims that I just found out that I consumed over 1,000 calories by licking envelopes, according to Chloe Williams, who's 22 years old and a wedding planner. That's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Who licks 1,000 envelopes? And, don't you have those, I don't know if they're still as popular, but at an office supply store, can't you get, isn't there a little, they make devices to wet.
Yeah, they're called sponges.
Well, but also
like bingo daubers with water or something.
Come on. Or you just grab a kitchen sponge, for crying out loud.
I'm not buying that.
That is ridiculous. Carrie Underwood, I had this in the pile yesterday. What, her house caught on fire?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Carrie Underwood's house caught on fire in Tennessee. Tennessee. Yeah, Sunday night, Carrie Underwood and her family were inside their house in Tennessee.
All right, we got it.
Williamson County Fire and Rescue confirmed they arrived at Carrie Underwood's house to find a fully involved working fire in the garage about 9:40 p.m. local time Sunday night. They put out the flames. They used a 10,000-gallon water tank. I guess the home is not serviced by a city fire hydrant. So, I know, I had a bunch of land out in Colorado, and we were going to build a house out in Colorado near Vail, and we never got around to building the house. I ended up selling the property a couple of years ago. But for that particular property, there's no water lines.
So if you had a fire?
Well, that's the deal.
They had to bring a helicopter and scoop it out of a lake?
Can I stop guessing? I was going to put in like a 10 or 15,000 gallon water tank.
Oh.
And you fill the tank, so you have a tank in the ground with a standpipe that the fire department can hook up to, so there's water in the ground in case there's a house fire.
Yeah, but if there wasn't water in it, you could have scooped it out of a lake. Had a helicopter drop it off like a forest fire.
I love those scoopers.
Yeah, I know. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I never built the house, but if I did, I was going to have to put like a water tank in the ground. I had drilled a well. I had a 350-foot well tapped into the Minturn aquifer, and I had some great water, drinkable water right out of the ground.
Some good water, that Minturn water.
The Minturn water. Yeah, you stayed at Anthony Sullivan's house in Minturn. In Minturn, right down from the Minturn Country Club. One of my favorite spots out there for a great steak. All right, so Carrie Underwood, I feel bad. She was when was she on American Idol?
She was like season.
She was early,
2 or 3.
Yeah. Anyway, they put out the fire, but her garage burned to the ground. Yeah, so I don't know. Did they say what the cause was? Yeah, and fire got into the walls. It kept flaring up. They had hot spots. So Carrie Underwood is 41. That's unbelievable. Mike Fisher, husband, 44. They have a couple of kids, 9 and 5, Isaiah and Jacob. Luckily, they're all okay. Obviously, could have been worse. But I don't see what started the fire.
Carrie Underwood was season 4. First, it was Kelly Clarkson, then Ruben Studdard, and then Fantasia Burrito.
Is Ruben Studdard still alive?
Nope.
Yeah, he's a gospel guy.
Is he? I don't know.
Hold on, you just said nope.
Yeah, he is.
I just guessed.
No,
look at the size of the guy. He was a big fat guy.
Yeah, Ruben Studdard. That's right.
Is he big on the gospel scene, Froggy?
I believe so. I think back in the day we called you White Ruben Stutter, didn't you?
Yes,
Didn't we?
yeah. You got me the shirt with the area code on it and everything.
That was more of a Clay Aiken fan.
Did you guys ever see the Fantasia Barrino story starring Fantasia Barrino as Fantasia Barrino? It was so good. It was on Lifetime. I loved it.
I didn't. And who was the awful kid? Who was the kid that was like
Sanjaya?
Yes. No, not Sanjaya.
Oh.
Who was the
Asian guy?
Oh, Hung.
William Hung?
William Hung. That's right, William Hung. Remember that guy?
He didn't make it to Hollywood.
He didn't. He was a sideshow. Alec Baldwin has been accused of being reckless with guns before the Rust shooting, which killed the director of photography, the cinematographer. Yep, Alec Baldwin, super sloppy with firearms on the Rust set before the infamous fatal shooting. At least that's what prosecutors are claiming, that they've got information, they've got details. According to new legal documents that TMZ got their hands on, prosecutors out in New Mexico say they intend to introduce evidence that Alec was negligent with a firearm on the set even before the cinematographer Helena Hutchins was shot by Alec Baldwin. They claim at one point during filming, Alec recklessly pointed and fired a blank round at a crew member while using the crew member as a line of sight. What?
All right. It sounds like it's really tough to prove in court.
Well, we'll see.
How would Alec know?
Helena Hutchins, isn't she doing like 18 months for involuntary manslaughter? Hey, listen, Alec can easily follow that. But, Judge, Your Honor, I have the Keeping Up with the Baldwin series coming to TLC. No. You can't put me in prison. No.
I won't do good in jail. No.
Well, this is a high-profile case. Alec Baldwin on trial out in New Mexico in Albuquerque next month in July. And this is such a high-profile case. I don't think the prosecution's going after Alec Baldwin unless they think they've got a good case. They don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be shown up. I got to believe that they have a pretty strong case to go after Alec Baldwin, is what I'm thinking. And claiming that there's evidence that he was absolutely negligent even before what happened.
Can I share something I've been sitting on the whole show? Well,
Yes,
I need to be careful as I say this.
Why would you wait until the last 30 seconds of the show?
To have some fun at the end of the show. This is for the MJ TV viewers. This is a visual thing, but I'm going to show it to you guys in the room.
All right. Okay.
We had some dinner last night. We had a really awesome balloon art guy, and my daughter wanted an elephant.
All right, that looks nothing like an elephant. That looks like a sex toy.
Holy crap!
Oh my God.
I'm putting it up to MJ TV right now.
Oh my God!
That's not an elephant.
Hold on.
That's not a balloon elephant.
Your kid asked for a. First of all, am I the only one that finds the balloon guys coming to the table annoying?
Let me tell you, this is. I'd never met this balloon guy before. He was hilarious. He was amazing, and obviously. When you check out that balloon art that he did, it's pretty funny.
This was at Burn Steakhouse?
Yeah, it was at Burn Steakhouse. I should have been careful how I said that. I've been sitting on it for the whole show. No.
Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah.
He's talented.
Yeah, so that looks nothing.
If you hold it a certain way, it looks like an elephant, but when it's just sitting on its ears, it does not.
Looks nothing like an elephant. That looks like a XXX rated personal device. And the balloon guy handed your kid that? All right.
What if you're the balloon guy and all you can make is genitalia?
I'll tell you what.
It all starts out that way. Because I started studying it. It really all starts out that way.
Yeah.
With a stick in the
Let me tell you right now. If my kids were little, I'm at the restaurant and the balloon guy comes around and Chloe asks for an elephant and the guy hands that to my kid, I'm calling 911. 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, the balloon guy just handed my kid this disgusting XXX rated, wang-a-lang-a ding-dong.
Yeah, right?
Oh, my God. All right, hold that up to MJ TV one more time.
Okay, one more time. Here it is. The elephants.
All right, make sure that, Andrew, is it a good shot? You got it? All right. That is not an elephant. That is something from the Adam and Eve catalog.
It's the balloon party edition.
Oh, my God. All right, folks, have a great day. 9:51 at the MJ Morning Show. Have a great time. Remember that the full show podcast is up on all the platforms by about 11 a.m. You can always go back every day and watch MJ TV, which is live. We appreciate it. Thanks to Riley and Kim for coming in, and it's the whole Aldi angry complainiac.
The MJ mea culpa.
The whole smooth over with angry Kim. And look, she's not angry at me anymore. Anyway, guys, great to have you in. I hope you enjoyed hanging out in the studio. Folks, have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. And let's be careful out there.